Welcome to the Busy Being Born podcast with your hosts Kamande and Kigondu.
Za kipindi
vituko
umeisema niko vituko
bro likobe
vituko was a thing
so vitimbi hadi mwala haniel makaratasi ama alikuwa anaitwa nani jamaa
wewe ulikuwa unaketi unaziwatch
niliwazipenda man
mimi nakumbuka tu nani
ndio maana mimi audition ya kwanza nilikill Baba Zero audition ya kwanza nilikill ni Shikwekwe
that was Kinyonga
man Kinyonga had such a distinct like nini kasonka nini yake hata like the what do they call it na mimi ndio nafaa kujua but hiyo kawimbo ya kuintroduce the show
the jingles
yeah I guess
no kuna jina tuliambiwa nililearn the score
score is different though because scores anyway ladies and gentlemen maze tumejump in hivyo tu if you're watching us there's a lot of activity as tunatry kujitafuta sasa tuketi but yes for you who's listening to us we do the thing nitaanza kujifunza kufanya hivi abu ni vile nimezoea kufanya hivi vingine I'll make a bad joke but at least I tuko na dagi so naweza make very
you're allowed
you're allowed thank you for unajua for you
I'm the only one who can do good jokes
clearly maze
you think
until you well anyway ladies and gentlemen karibuni sana I know you're watching us the ones on YouTube already you've seen our guest we'll jump into him and introduce you to him but umekuaje since the last time I saw you Kamande?
I've been great man.
Maze hata ninge-change t-shirt at least
mimi nilikuwa nimejipanga it's been a while it's been a while bana it's like man it show the last time patana bado ulikuwa na
oh good but generally umekuwa poa
I'm well I'm very niko sawa kabisa niko sawa kabisa like yeah honestly niko sawa
that's a good thing
obviously I think niko sawa but life inaendelea right with all its ups and downs its challenges the suffering that comes with all this human experience but overall I'm with it
hapo sawa maze you know the moment you say the suffering that comes with life abota kuchekiza bro it's how you look at it man but so you be mindful of your words I'm also quite okay nashukuru I have to admit the previous episode was quite healing so sisemi how long ago we shot the previous episode but there is a sense of lightness with my spirit sense of release because honestly Tugi and I talk a lot she's one of the people I've shared this before there's Tugi we've also had another guest Chantel. I have probably 3-4 friends who are consistently calling me Mato are you resting Ndaiga as well yo bro it's like you know Kamande yo bro man Kamande for sure but there are people in my life who consistently check in wako una rest that is one like very important question for them are you resting so yes thank you for that saizi to jump in we have a guest hii hata si lazima nisome maze unajua normally kuna mtu kimeandikwa but ladies and gentlemen we are giving you a phenomenal mind
a brilliant
mind for sure and the reason we say this is because clearly when it comes to impact when it comes to movement in the comedy scene atutasema just see how many shows they've done we'll say see how many people they've brought up unajua see how many different geeks they've put together minimum follow toka siku za Langata and I know you were somewhere else even before that while the coffee number 7 is where a lot of people knew you from a lot of people might have watched his works and their works as a collective pale Showmax on the different shows so ladies and gentlemen we give you
see how many people in the society they've actually made their lives lighter. I don't know if that's grammatically correct. But you know, just being able to have a place where you can go and for 1-2 hours, like laugh your heart out. That was not something that was always there. And I know a lot of people who've really benefited from that. Like Mazi amepigwa na live the whole week. Mazi but kuna kamali tu mahali ataenda tu Mazi ajirelease tu acheke tu yake yote. And by the time they are leaving that show Mazi unachikia feeling, una feel lighter.
Yeah.
You feel lighter.
They feel that as
lighter.
well.
So in as much as hii ni therapy in itself. Like you're making people's lives much, much better. You're making this existence bearable.
Yeah. Find meaning through laughter.
Far too kind.
It's true.
So ladies and gentlemen, we give you a creative entrepreneur, we give you a manager, we give you a comic, and an all-round brilliant man. We give you the one and only Doug Mutai.
Thank you guys.
Karibu sana, man.
Asante, man. Finally.
Are you damaged?
Yes, I'm in a lot of damage right now.
How long have you held on to that question?
Oh man,
for
these
the last
way
10
too-
minutes.
10 minutes because I started saying it. Yes.
I was like, that was going to be the first one to chapa you.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the damage is real and the life happens. You know?
Yeah.
But if it heals other people, that damage, it's fair game.
Yeah. Does it heal you as well?
Yeah, it does. I think I feel like I live for the high of the damage. You know what I mean? You damage just so you can heal.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the reverse of that could also be toxic. Unajua?
Yeah.
Going
You
out
heal so that
to
you can
damage so that you
can
can
heal, yes.
Yeah.
But I am actually, surprisingly, I feel quite balanced. Like, I know it's as comedians talk like we are damaged, and I feel like we just say that because we are generally cynical, as a cynical mindset. But I feel quite balanced, especially with doing comedy too. It kind of centers me quite a bit.
Yeah. I also like to see it as just honesty, right? Because
Yeah.
if you really think about it, all of us have some sort of damage. and
Yeah.
Maybe it's at different magnitudes.
Yeah.
But you guys are just okay with it, and you recognize it, and that's your
Yeah,
healing process.
It's one of those. Is it chronic, or which one is the one that never goes away?
Chronic.
You just have to manage it.
Yeah,
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But in a way. But no, I think people again, it's the cynicism. But I think we are just okay. We're just okay people. There's enough people. Yeah, there's enough people.
There's this statement we spoke of Ndaigan and you amecall. There's this quote. I don't know if it's by Charlie Chaplin or by Mr. Ben. Yeah, probably Charlie Chaplin. Yeah. So when nitai yaribu, but at least get the through line
gist,
of it.
yeah.
So when you look at life from a wide shot, it is quite serious. But when you look at life through a closer shot, could be a close up or other, then it becomes a comedy. Yeah. So it's like very so. Anyway, do you agree? Do you feel that comedy na honesty ziko hapa?
Oh, hand in hand, 100%. Like I think that's by Ron or something.
Ron Atkinson, huh?
Yeah. It could be because I don't remember Charlie Chaplin ever talking. But yes, 100%, I agree with that. In fact, it's an honest. The more you look, the more honest you are with life, the more you can laugh about it. Because even some of the things we don't laugh about are because we haven't reached that point of acceptance about them, like that they exist as they are. Like sometimes there are just things you can't fix for now. The best you can do is laugh about them, but they'll resolve themselves somehow, right? And so you're very right. It's so profound. I've never heard of that, but it makes perfect sense. You look at it on a big scale, it's like that is serious. You can't touch
drama.
that. You can, but then you go, this is funny. This is funny, and that even goes for around that topic that people normally say: is anything off limits to joke about? To me, it's like when you look at it on a big, it's like, of course, that's terrible. You don't want to joke. But when you start going closer, you're like, but you can make a joke about here and here and here. And of course, plus also the whole idea of time around it to make it healing properly. Just sensitivity. But I agree with that quote quite a bit. I hadn't even thought of it like that. Maybe that'll help me write more.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
You're welcome, bro.
Yeah, thanks,
You're
man.
welcome.
I'm so glad. These lessons, man. These lessons, the writer himself,
Doug.
We got you. We got you. Okay. What's now there's the one who's making the joke, the comic.
Yes.
And their life experience. And the topics they're about to explore. Should a comic be that close to whatever they're trying to expose for it to feel authentic? I could comment about Zimbabwe and I'm allowed. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
For instance, there are comics who joke about cancer. Yeah? There are comics who'll joke about, I don't know, suicide or unajua?
Rape.
Yeah, exactly. Or rape. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it allowed, quote unquote? Is it part of, it's part of it's what we do. If you've not experienced it as closely as the person before you joke about it.
It is allowed, but in a way, there's a thing that I normally call the license. It's one of those bullshit words I came up with. But like, what is the license? I was doing this workshop for a bit, and then I couldn't find a word to explain why. So to look for that proximity for you to say
Proximity is a word,
you need to get a license to say it, but you can say it. As long as you get that license properly, like so that it's like it gives you the reason you're saying it's because this led you to this. But I think, and then one of the other consistent things with stand-up especially is there are rules to stand-up, and one of the best things about stand-up is you need to learn the rules so you can break them. So like there's no rule, hard and fast rule that absolutely you cannot talk about that just because you have never experienced it. You can talk about it because you've seen it. If you have observed it, you can talk about it. Just now get that license to be able to make it funny, right? Like, so I don't know, a good example would be something like, if you're gonna joke about what is a sensitive topic, like the cancer, for example, you're joking about it as who, do you have someone in your family, or do you get something like that? Could be a license, or just your fears about it. Like that is also just a valid thing where you can be like, I'm always worried, I was having, and I thought, oh man, is that, and then you start joking about it. So I feel like you can absolutely joke about everything as long as you know enough about it. But what is more important is if the audience knows about it. That's actually very important, because if the audience do not have knowledge of it, it means more work for you setting them up, feeding them in with the knowledge about that thing before you can joke about it. That's why the more specific you are, like with the whole specificity thing, the more it's funny. So like there are some universal topics that you can do and get away with it anywhere in the world. But then if someone who is closer to those universal things jumps on and does them, like it's like if a South African comic is here and he's doing jokes about everything that we all know, Kenya relationship, and then I come in and I joke, and then I make the joke about Kawangware and Expressway, and Kenyans will know it better than if that South African if I was in South Africa and I try to do the same better joke, it won't work because they don't. But I might have to change it to Soweto or something, right? But like this, the logic stands that the more the audience knows about the subject matter, the better it's gonna be for comedian covering it than otherwise. Because we're always talking about, when you're doing a joke, the structure of a joke is usually the feed line or the premise and then the punchline, right? And if you're talking about that, it means you want as many punch. I would love, it's ideal if you have one setup and many punchlines about one subject matter. But now if you have many setups to lead to one punchline, you see you're losing a lot on the laughs.
Yeah.
Your laughs per minute are going down, diminishing because you're setting up too long.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
LPMs.
LPMs, yes.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Laughs
it's a
per
thing.
minute.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Especially with the nerdy pro comics, of course. It's especially a thing for training comedy, but there's an innateness to being interesting and being funny that the LPMs do not apply.
Yeah.
But if you're aware of it, it's the same thing. It's a rule that you learn, and you can break it if you know about it.
Yeah. To what degree is being funny a factor of just who you are as a person versus training, craft and training?
Being funny, everybody is, right? Somehow everyone or anyone can be in a connection sense, like, oh man, you should meet my friend, he's so crazy, he's always so funny, he's always cracking these jokes, and that is being funny, that's being innate. But being actually a stand-up comic, let me speak from that perspective, or even a sketch comic for that matter, is really a lot about now your practice, your training, what you do. As you do it as an objective to be funny. There's that thing where you're funny natural. You don't know, you didn't intend to be funny. And the problem with that is it's very unpredictable. in terms of if you want to do this consistently. So with stand-up and any other craft of comedy, it's more important the training and the practice, but the seed is the being funny, the talent. Like that's what we call the talent. You have to be talented. There's talent versus skill. So now with skill, you know how to make things funny. You can make anything funny just because of the skill. But with the talent, you are just funny. You can make things funny, but it's very sporadic, it's accidental. You find yourself
Unpredictable.
You live and be you're stepping on toes from time to time because you don't know what you were doing. You were just trying to be yourself. But I think more of it for the professional sense or for just practicing sense, I think skill goes more into it than talent. Talent was what gets you into it. Talent gets you into being a comedian or whatever. But you realize very fast you run out. Like when I started the first 3 months, I was churning out material like bam, 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 because I'm funny. Like I'm funny. There was a lot of hit and misses too. You're dying, you're killing, and then
You're bombing.
You're bombing a lot, and it's just like. And then after that, you start realizing, the well is now dry. Well, now that's when you start building the skill of making, how to make it funnier. You make the skill, you go back to your stuff and how can I make them better, and then you start working on it. Kind of stuff.
Sorry, still on this topic of building it as a craft. One of the things that I know people who might be funny innately, and maybe want to get into, let's say, stand-up comedy because for one reason or other, maybe they could be good. One of those things that maybe might be an impediment is just their confidence, being able to stand on stage and actually be okay with even bombing in the first place, right? How do you train for that? And I know there are different facets of that, like public speaking. There are these guys who what are they called? The guys who train people how to public speak. There's a name for it. I don't know.
Is it the Toastmasters?
Toastmasters. Yes, that's the name I was looking for. Yeah, how do you?
Thanks, Abu.
Cheers. How do you think about getting people to transition there? Have you come across? And sorry, it's a long-winded question. Have you come across people who maybe are funny and they are willing to put in the work? They just don't have the confidence to get on stage and be okay.
Yeah, the thing is, again, it's one of those things where somebody could be funny off stage, but I might not even notice it because they're just, to me, a funny person off stage is probably just a nice person and everything. I feel like that drive, it's an internal drive that gets you on, because that stage is also part of what the training is, right? Like when you get started. So I find a lot of people who already have experience in, say, poetry, theater, music, now already
the transition is easy.
Yeah, the training for stage is already done. So now they have to train for writing and whatnot, writing the jokes, timing and playing that. But at least the biggest part, which is getting on stage, is already done. Now, that's the other challenge. I actually don't know, but I think most of it is practice. We throw people in the wolves' den a lot. Like a lot of the new comics that we have, even part of our writing sessions include just a writing session where it's like, okay, I know you've written it. You write it on your own at home when you type out the joke and whatnot. But when you come here and you want to brainstorm the joke, you want to pitch it, you do it on stage in front of 7 comedians in a stage, and then you play around that. And then, you take it for granted. Because if you started early, you forgot the last time you didn't know how to do stage. But you see people who have never been on stage in their lives, they feel like they can do this, they're funny, and they're like, now they don't know what to do, but they train over time, they learn, and practice is the best one for that one.
Yeah. Did you ever feel the jitters when you're starting out, getting on stage, or was that natural to you because you came from already a creative background?
On stand-up, it was natural. I didn't feel the jitters because I was already done. Like we did drama, but that is when I really felt the jitters. Like I remember when I think I was 13 or 12, Kenya National Drama Music Festivals. Actually, I was doing a poem and made it to the nationals at KICC, and I remember shaking. Like I was like, what the? Like I was halfway through my thing. And finally, the nerves I was holding together, I couldn't hold that much longer. And
you peed on yourself.
I felt like I did.
Okay.
I felt like I did, but I felt so embarrassed. I felt like those guys saw
probably
it.
couldn't make it in stand up.
Yeah, because of the peeing. The peeing. Yeah, we don't like the peeing very much. I didn't like the peeing comedian. He was
That guy.
He peed on the audience. I really didn't enjoy that part when he pulled out his thing and peed on everyone.
Yeah.
But I,
Yeah.
yeah, he misunderstood the assignment. I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, yes. So stage fright.
So
for-
I remember getting that stage fright that day, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I called myself for mkutano or something,
Mm.
but I just like no, I was like, I'm done. This is my life. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was like, that's probably why I didn't even rank, because I think at that point they used to just read up to number 3.
This is true.
And I used to just be, I'm glad I'm just at number, I was mentioned. And I was like, so no state house, no nothing. I was really, really, really like, but I was embarrassed, bro. I was so embarrassed. Like I couldn't face my teacher. And then my teacher was like, dude, it's okay. You did good. I think even my teacher lied to me. He came and be like, I don't know if it is, but he's like, after he's seeing, it's like, he's never given me results when I went past the 4. Because I used to do like, I'd have like 3 items or 4. Like, I'm performing several solo verses. And this guy came and he's like, you were number 4. You know, you lost by half a mark. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have been number 3. They almost mentioned your name.
They almost did.
Wow. And that just built me back up. I was like, so it wasn't that bad, huh? I'll take care of this. So after that, I still have, I would just have it. I'm feeling it. But it's never that bad. It's just the good amount that drives you to keep going. But then one day, there was a time, but I realized with stand-up though, I'll have a bit of the jitters when it's a new stage. It's a stage I've never done before, so I'll always... But with the stages that I know, I just tighten. It's like tightening bolts. Oh, yeah, I know. Yep, go.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
let's talk about the stages where you're not familiar, because I know even for experienced performers, even like you, Mato, sometimes, you know, and I know you have your like your backstage tradition to make sure that you're there. So focus is not on you today. And actually, we need to talk about that, Mato. Like, what's your process of getting into character and making sure that you're giving a stellar performance? What's your priming? We'll get into
You're
it.
not turning
No,
to me.
but today it's
we are,
that.
we are on you.
Yeah.
I also want to hear it though,
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, definitely. I think you'd learn from it. You will learn from it. All of us will. For you, like you go into a stage and it's very new for you, and you realize, okay, jitters here and there. So do you do something different, or do you have a standard practice, like a pre-game thing, right? For you.
Yeah, it's never that different. I always have I have a standard thing that I do all the time. I've had to tone down on some of them
Why?
because they were excessive. I used to, even when I used to have this thing of, okay, first of all, the clothes have to be very comfortable, what I'm wearing. But it used to be worse because I used to be like, I can never perform on a paid stage with clothes I've never tried out at a lesser stage, like outfits. So that became difficult when you started getting someone who styles you and they style you for the day. They are not gonna bring you clothes to wear at an open mic, or you're doing a corporate and you're gonna be wearing a suit at an open mic, just so you can.
Wait,
So
at the
I
gig
had
tomorrow.
to tone down on that one. I was like, because it was rituals and I knew it was BS from the start, but it helps calm me, right? The other thing I do is I try and have a set
what
list.
then becomes your practice there? You now have to wear clothes you're familiar with. You're fine with wearing what you've been forwarded?
Yeah, now I'm fine. I can wear
whatever.
brand new clothes. I don't care.
Okay.
But before I never used to.
Yeah.
I was like, you cannot, that outfit, you cannot, that outfit is cursed.
Yeah.
It used to become, because it happened a few times when I'd put on an outfit and the set was not as great.
Yeah.
And now every time I put on that outfit, the set is not great. So I was like, oh, that outfit is cursed. I cannot perform with that anymore. But that's no longer the case anymore. It stopped. That nonsense stopped. Now I can do everything. I'm no longer that superstitious with it. But like, but the other thing that I do, obviously there's a pacing, which I don't do a lot of. I also like to watch the audience, what's going on with the audience. And I think that usually connects me instantly. But also just thing is, I just have a set list just in case. I never use it, but I have it. Like, it's like, oh, this is my style, this is the jokes I'm gonna do it. Because fortunately for stand-up now, it's no longer, it's not a script, but it's also not new. Like, it's not gonna be, I'm gonna be performing something
on the fly.
Yeah, I'm not. So it's not improv, right? Like, yeah, it's a whole thing of, hey, it's ready. I know the bits. I can improv in between, but that is just at my discretion. And those, like, I've actually, so eventually with the outfits, actually, I went out of my way to break all rituals, because I realized you're never always gonna have it. But they make you feel good, but they also give you a false sense of safety that I didn't think it was necessary. Like, even when I was doing it, I didn't like it. I was always like, I'm always big on the non-superstition, anti anything that is, now there's this, but I think just being calm, and I feel like I can just pick the energy from the audience. So I think the one that I felt is not a vice, but rather more of a virtue, is watching the audience.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not counterproductive. I won't get into that situation. I'm telling the people, no. You gotta have njugu for me, and 2 waters that have to be placed 1 centimeter apart. Like, I hear those things, and I'm like, that's a mental illness. You should talk to someone. But now I don't have that, and I was like, but then I realized it's these small rituals that lead to that. So I decided to break them and just get the ones that are like advice. So I'm like, watching the audience, that's fair, I'm watching the audience, I'm gauging the energy.
You're connecting.
Yeah, I'll know what to do with them. Once I get there, it's gonna be spiritual somehow.
Do you pick out someone? Because I don't know who I've heard talking about his pre-game ritual, and one of the things they do is that they pick out a few people that if they know that something is going off, then they focus on them.
Like an audience, and
like an audience
member.
No, so like you focus on them. You pick someone in the audience.
I used to do that actually. Now that you ask, I used to. This happened a lot in Canada when I would go to this. I used to tour quite a bit, and you'd go into these small towns, and God bless their souls, but some of them didn't understand my accent. The guy I used to be opening for would be like, man, they would love you, but they just don't understand you. Yeah. They don't get your speaking. And then there was a phase in my career where my act was a rant. I'm just getting agitated and getting just angry and just kept going, and it just escalated. And it used to be funny.
Yeah.
But it's funny if you can understand what I'm saying.
This is true, yeah.
Right? So it was always like, so from time to time I'd get into these rooms, and audience. I was like, man, the kid seems agitated, but I don't know what he's doing. But then I would have like 2 people at the front who are laughing their asses off, so I'd just focus on them, just perform for them. I'm like, these 2 people came to see this, I'm doing this for them. And we'd have hecklers and everything, but I'm just focusing on them. But I don't do that as much anymore.
You're now the guy. You're now the guy.
Yeah.
Let's. I'm glad we are back there. At some point, oh man, we've left. I'm glad we are back there. Let's talk about the tougher rooms. Yeah. Let's talk about the importance of embarrassment. Because everything we are doing as performing artists is risking embarrassment. The importance of bombing, the importance of having a bad show. Yeah. Do you think there is?
I don't inherently think a bad show is a good thing. But I think you're right. There's an importance to it, especially for any young comic training coming up. For me now, as an old guy who's done all the hell gigs I can remember, I'm always like, I don't need it. I don't need the negative that comes out of it, because all the lessons out of it, I kind of have most of the lessons.
Learned them.
Yeah, but but then what I realize is it's the same goes to practice. You go back and do them, and then you realize, oh yeah, that muscle is kind of dying off, so I need to build it from time to time. So it helps, but at least I know where to tune in. I know, oh, well, switch this, get the switches on. But for young comics, I think it's good for them to experience that, because you'll know what to do if it's not going right. You just need to know what to do. You need to have a switch. You need to have what do you turn on?
What are those though? Like, for instance, if there's a young comic who's watching you right now, man, I'm struggling, then what would you advise they go for practically in that moment to sort of bring the crowd back towards them?
First of all, the very, very, very first thing is
Walk out of the room.
Yes. Give up right now. Your mother is disappointed. No, the very first thing I feel like, and a lot of comics forget this, is check-in is the first checklist is, are you having fun? Obviously you're not. That's why you're doing badly. That's why your family is disowning you right now. But the first thing is now take it back and have fun. Take back that power of fun and be like, okay, you guys are not having it because I'm going to have fun now. Now you guys are not having me, I will have fun.
Now focus on you.
Focus on you. And the beauty of that is the moment you start having fun, they somehow they always have fun. And then you'll find someone else who's having that fun with you. And then they'll just infect everyone. Then you realize, oh, it's the whole idea is to turn them in your direction, turn them your way. You know, like it's
Madness.
like.
Sorry, Doug.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's not just about comedy? That's about everything in life.
It's about everything, actually. You're right? But comedy now becomes one of those things in life that is a reflection of life, right? Like comedy, comedy becomes a reflection of life in that sense, I guess. Yeah, that's a perfect opportunity.
If you're not having fun, then you're definitely not giving this thing your best. You're like powering and struggling.
You're doing it for the wrong reason at that particular point.
You know, that just came. The moment you said, I was like, that's not just about. I know it applies mostly to comedy and performing, but I feel like that's just all of life.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Yeah, it makes sense. It connects, and it's one of those things where it's like you use it as a technique, but that's I forgot my point. But like it was so smart. You guys
would have been blown
missed
away.
out.
It will come back.
But yes, generally it's like if you are not having fun, what are you doing it for, right? Like there's something is off kilter. You gotta recalibrate. You gotta bring it back to the main reason why you're doing it. And that I find even helps even the young comedians that I tell them they're here, because a lot of people even misunderstand why they're doing comedy sometimes. You know, people do it for, they think they want fame, money, the ladies, and it's always like, I don't know, man. It's every I've been around long enough. I've seen the comics who do it for the wrong reasons and how far they go, and they never go far. But if you're doing it for comedy, for the sake of comedy, for the sake of yourself to be happy, surprise, surprise, even all these other things will follow you. The money, the fame will follow you.
The galdem.
The galdems, maybe too. Yes, they
but
will.
Things will align.
Things will align, basically, right? But so it became a thing of when a new comic is going on stage, I tell them the most important thing you have to do right now is you can have fun. If you have fun, that's what we want. That's what everyone here is here for. You have fun and everybody will have fun and you'll have fun, and then you'll realize it's just a never-ending loop.
Works.
Yeah.
Works. Okay. I see a really good opportunity for a good segue here. Purpose. Why are we doing this? Yeah. This is a question you've sort of highlighted now. So why did you start doing comedy, and is that answer different then to now? You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe you started it for the Galdem. Then now it has this bigger, more profound meaning. But for you, why? And then maybe attached to that would be the when. When did you think, okay, you know, this comedy thing could be a thing because this is my purpose now?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is I didn't start doing comedy in a sense. Like, it just happened. Like, there was no one day. Okay, there was the day when I decided I'm going to pursue stand-up. But prior to that, I had been doing comedy. Even when I was in theater, I used to be cast for the funny roles somehow, right? In high school, I'd entertain people, comedy, make people laugh for, hours on end sometimes. One of the things that happened when we were in Form 1, the World Cup was going on. In 1962, and the school TV, the Form 4s broke the school TV. So all of a sudden, the principal says, "Screw you guys, we're not buying a new thing. You guys are gonna have to figure out your entertainment Friday nights." And there was nothing happening on entertainment Friday nights. And then this one kid in our class, one day just stood up and started making, his name is Dishan. He was an organizer. He started doing stuff. on stage, just making fun of people. But he did it once and then left it. Next week, he was like, "Hey, dude, are you gonna do that again?"
Thing.
Yeah, he didn't do it. I was like, do you mind if I do? I was like, yeah, you do it. And then I went up, and then this other guy called Fred joined me, and we started riffing. And then what we were doing was we were just imitating Ridiculous. So I'm doing the Ridiculous bits, like the sketches they would do, trying to do a parody of it, Nyambane's parody of what Nyambane used to do. He was doing that version, and then I'd do different characters act. And then over time I started doing our teachers. I started learning different acts, like different teachers would imitate them, and it was so funny for like a whole term. That is every Friday night. Guys would come to Form 1 West, or other Form 1s would come to Form 1 West, like to just hang out and just us fuck around for like an hour before we go to our dorms. And that happened, and then I just kind of stopped because I was just like, what am I doing? I'm joking with my life. I should be. And like, I think I was actually caught by a teacher, and he attacked me physically, and chappered me. It was a Kanda.
Kandagor mwenyewe.
Yeah, Kandagor himself.
For those listening and watching, these guys happen to have gone to the same high school.
Yes.
That's why they're both damaged.
Yes. So, Chumba actually kind of watched and left. One day, like, he used to be that guy who used to attack, sneak in and watch people. And then, chapa you guys. But then it was 9:30, the preps in Maisha, and he's watching. Why have this class have not left? The lights are not off. I think he watched and he just gave up and he left. And I was just like, all right, you keep doing this. So that became a thing. And then I stopped. And then after a few years again, I did it. And then there was a time when we had that multi-purpose, like the big theater that was being built, and then the new principal came in, and there was a talent night, and then I came in, and that was the first feeling of me killing it in front of like 1,500 people just laughing their asses. I was like, what the fuck was that feeling, Yeah, and it just became a thing. And then I quit again. Of course, I went back to theater, what I used to do in theater. Then I went to college. I'm in a small city in Canada.
How do you find yourself there? So that you don't, yeah. How do you find yourself in Canada in a small town?
So it's another long story. I didn't. When we finished high school, didn't make the JAB grades, whatever it was. It was JAB back then too. Oh, okay. That's how bad I was not paying attention to. Yeah. That's how much of a joker I was. So I missed it by a small whisk. Even if I had made the grade, I would not have liked it with the courses I would have gotten. So I got I got my B minor there, and I was just like, okay. I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out. But in my life, like I was just telling you, I didn't want to go to campus. I didn't want to go to college. The closest I would have gone maybe was KU because of their culture thing. The whole thing that they used to have about performing arts. So that was the only thing I would have done. But even then, some people would be like, you want to go study? I'm like, I already kind of know this. I know how to paint. I know how to drama. Why do I have to go to school for it? I want to do it professionally already, start out. But of course, the family was not happy with that. Parents were not happy with that. Nobody was hearing any of it. So I decide, okay, I'm going to join. So we go for that. I think Parallel had just begun. It was just like maybe the third year or something.
It was a thing, yeah.
It was a thing.
So this is maybe a pin on it. This is maybe 205.
206 actually.
206. So you finished in 25, eh?
Yeah. So my mother goes and gets me enrollment, to apply for. I think there was KU, there was JQuat, and what else did we apply for? And then they said, yeah, you have to go to university. My mother is an academic. You have to go to school. You can't just. You are not going to not go to school on my watch. The firstborn, that is going to look. So they're like, we'll get you. You'll get there. You'll get to the Nini. So they get my application. I get. Even my friends were enrolling in May, whatever. But Mimi already, I'm doing drama. Right, I'm doing drama. I've made some first chums.
This is training schools now.
Yeah,
for the
training
festivals.
schools for the festivals. I've written 2 plays. I wrote 1 play. I bought another one, and then, dude, I get kiburi ya pesa imeingia. I'm like, why? I'm gonna do my life. I don't need to go to. I don't need college. What are you talking about?
I'm already making my money here.
Yeah,
man.
and I'm gonna make more. So leave me alone. And that's when my dad got the idea to just whisk me out of the country, because then I would the chances of me focusing would be higher. So we applied. They got my uncle who was already abroad in Canada. They made me, they said, okay, we are going to apply this and get you to go there. And that's kind of how it happened. And I didn't know, man. My uncle on the other side was enrolling me in cross-country running. I'm not bullshitting.
That is left, bro. That is so left.
Left. So, because my uncle is heard, okay, did you do any sports?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, yeah, I used to play rugby from time to time. I love rugby. So this guy is like, yeah, you're going to come and you're going to get hooked to the entire thing. Me, I'm like, I'm not doing that, but that's how he got there. And then remember, in my family, we have some guys who did professional athletes.
Yeah.
He was one of them. Now I have an auntie who used to win marathons in the 90s. And so I was just like, it was another natural step to take.
Yeah.
So they said, yeah, you're going. So my dad is like, you're going. I was like, everyone is like, you're going. So I was like, you know what? Kutembe kwingi kwa mengi.
Yeah.
I'll go. But I didn't want to go. I was just like, I'm okay here, man. I'm doing well. I was doing really well for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Especially since I was doing creative work. There was nothing else I was doing. Mimi, actually, my focus at that time was to come to Nairobi, because there was we have my uncle just retired, and the plan was we'd used to come to Nairobi to do courses. Ndio tusikuwe nini sana, mko exposed a bit. Mnakuja hizo ma computer packages nini, mnaambiwa mkuje mfanyie Nairobi. So my uncle is, I'm like, Mimi, what I'll do, nitafika Nairobi, nitafute, I'll pursue music, and I was going to pursue acting. So we already have I thought we have an in, because OJ was already, Mugo was already on Tahiti High.
Dennis Mugo.
So I'm like, I'm going to audition for that.
He was in
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Nakuru was big with producing very creative people.
Yeah, because academics was not there.
Yeah, so it was actually mostly the creative arts and rugby.
And rugby. I was going to say that, and
rugby.
rugby. Yeah, you guys were back
killing.
then reminiscing, man. You guys used to dominate rugby so much.
That's cool.
Yeah, the inside was all just knocks,
Yes.
knocks, patch, knocks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Good.
It was amazing.
yeah.
So Mimi, my plan was to come audition and even write a show. Like I was gonna write a show and take it on TV. I have a show idea. It's gonna be on TV. If that one doesn't work, that's okay. If they don't let me in, I already have mine, and then we'll just figure out how to put it on. So, of course, the first thing I come and it's like, hey, nikakuja Nairobi, and then ni kama maneno hayaweza kuconnect vizuri vile uko nafikiria. But I didn't really pursue much. You want to go and try music, try out for music, and then you go to Caliph Records and you see the lineup. Hey, hata kuingia ni ngumu.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, I wanted to do music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Music.
Produce, sing, rap.
I wanted to be a producer, and I wanted to sing.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do. So it's like, it's not working. So I go back to, where we used to live in Kericho. And no, actually, we had actually moved to closer to Bomet, because my dad had just left his job then. And man, I went, and I was just like, you know what, this drama is already working anyway. And then I'm getting this opportunity to go to Canada. I'm like, maybe it's not a bad idea. Just go learn stuff, see stuff, and figure out. Maybe I'll even work out my way elsewhere. By then, I just realized right now in this moment, I didn't even know about Hollywood. It was not a consciousness in my mind. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew movies would come. Like I hadn't pictured that far. But so I was just like, I'll just go, and then I'll figure it out, and then see what happens. And then the running thing, I was like, yeah, I'll get started with that. Yeah, I'll start practicing. Monday, asubuhi, naenda kukimbia. I think I practiced a total of 3 times in the entire 3 months as we're waiting. I'm writing the tests for the other college. And then so I decided, I go.
Why not?
When I get there, the first race, Not the first race, first practice day on the day of September.
Yeah.
It's like, the new kids come in. And this guy, the coach, was a Swedish coach, very nice guy, used to just look for Kenyan. Any black student he sees is like, where are you from?
Kenya.
Congo. Kenya, come. Trains the Kenyans. So essentially, any Kenyan who was in that college was a runner. For me, I realized, hey, I don't even have the scholarship. I told my uncle, I didn't make it, so it's okay. It's fine. We'll just figure out what we do.
So the cross-country running was supposed to give you a scholarship.
Yes.
I see.
So because I didn't get good, there was nothing to do. And my uncle was like, you should try out. Because you're staying in my house. You're going to try out. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then as fate would have it, that same day on, I think first or second day, I think after orientation in college, walking around, and then there's camp. The coach is recruiting. Where are you from? Come.
Kenya.
Are you from Kenya? Come. So he's dragging me, and it's the same thing I was running away from. That same, like I was gonna run away from. So I just went in for training, and then he finds out, oh, what's your name? I've been talking to your uncle about you coming. What is going on? Hey, join. Hey, you guy. This guy even wrote me a letter because he's like, trust my uncle. So he's like, I'm gonna recommend him to come at school, so that for the embassy and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
dude! I went the first training, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna run my heart out. I have, it's all about believing in yourself. That's what I told myself. On the first day of practice, he decided, okay, the guys who are in shape, these guys, I'm trying to figure out what their fitness level is. These are the guys, he gave them an assignment. You guys do a long run, go all the way there. But you guys, I want you to do the coolie run. You go up the hill, nini na murudi hivi. The man's hey, it's like niko nayo. Hey, after a few minutes, imeisha, bro. And then I couldn't make it even back. I walked back. Hey, the guy was like, did you ever train when you were in Kenya? I was like, cool. Yeah, a little bit. He's like, no, you didn't train. You didn't train. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, fine. So anyways, training tomorrow, come back every day, you're going to train and everything. I was like, you know what, fine. This guy is a cool guy. So I went training.
Is he white?
Yeah, he's white.
Okay.
He's Swedish.
Oh, yeah, you say that.
So I started training, man. And first race we did, I think we had a race of how many people? I don't know if it was 40 runners. And I think I was number 41.
What?
Out of 40.
Yeah.
No, there was actually one other guy behind me. I was the second last. Dude, it was so embarrassing. It's a Kenyan studio, second last. The other Kenyans actually quit. They were like, no. And then there was other Kenyans, of course, who were in shape, and they were the ones winning the races. But won't you believe it, by the end of the season, I was actually almost at 15. Like I came, within 3 months, I was in good shape. And the second year I made it to the Nationals, it was insane.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Like, it was insane. And the Nationals, you're competing. There's Kenyans. People keep saying, oh, when I tell people, and they're like, oh, no, like that's, but it's in Canada. And I'm like, yeah, but it's Kenyans.
All these colleges.
Kenyans who left Kenya to go and run in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the ones I was in the team with.
What I'm getting here is that first one wasn't the last, yeah? So a couple of others happened. What are you telling yourself all through? Every time unaenda to the next, are you thinking, man, I have to run so that I'm here, unajua, to validate my stay here? It's, man, I don't know. Are you forcing yourself?
For me right now, I knew that I don't have the discipline to enjoy running as a sport, and I don't know why. Like, I feel like it was just one of those things, misplaced teenage, it's not cool sport nonsense that got me there. If I had looked at it as a proper endeavor, I would have done well. So for me, it was like, it's not. And then it doesn't help that all the people who are running are just people from deep in Baringo who don't. We are not on the same wavelength on many things. So I'm always like, it was not even fun company. The reason I was running was the coach told me, listen, if you run this time, if you make 30 minutes, if you can run 30 minutes in an 8K race, I'll give you a scholarship. Half scholarship. Oh, wow. So in my mind, I'm thinking so it was a carrot for sure for me. It wasn't even a stick, great, but it's a carrot.
And did you do it?
Yeah. The second year, I made it. I made the scholarship, I made the academic and the athletic. The only thing is they didn't give me like now stipends, but they paid for my fees. So all the day jobs I'd be making, all the night jobs I'm making are for my stipends and stuff like that. But then academic was paid by the running.
Yo.
It was in the second year though. Only the
That's a
second
cool
year.
fact.
Yeah,
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out.
By you highlighting the second year means soon enough you stopped running.
Yeah.
How do you get there?
So now after I've done it long enough, I also just start doing the money thing again. Actually, I wanted to go into help like the management part of running, the training, the coaching stuff, all that fun stuff, because I felt like I think I can figure that out better. Because one of my around that time, in the second year, was it the second year or second semester after the second season, now going into our third year, I figured out we had a local race that we were doing, and another, and then there was a Vancouver Sun Run, which is a big run, world-class run, and they invited our champ. His name was Willie Kimosom. He was invited for the meet. Yeah, run Willie the kid run.
Willie the kid, but
Kimosop, yeah. So he got invited to participate, which is a huge thing. But it didn't seem like anyone was realizing it's a big thing. Even the coach didn't want him to run, because on Saturday we had our own local run. It was sponsored by a local sports equipment company. It was called Flyman or something. And we had the run on Friday, and then there was Vancouver Sun Run was a Sunday run. And they wanted him to go there. And the coach was like, no, you shouldn't. No point. But I look at the invite. They're paying him a stipend to just appear. And he has a chance of winning. I'm looking at his time, and I'm like, dude, do you want to do this? He's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. The coach doesn't want. I told him, we'll do this. I took over everything. He's like, but now how do I get there? I don't even have, how do I book myself? I mean, this kid is from Baringo, very talented, but he's still not our Jengiana na system vizuri. He doesn't even like what's going on there. So me, I go ahead. He was my roommate at that point. We were living in the same house. I book his flights. I accept the thing for him. I get him his acceptance. I get him on, and I told him, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to finish the race on Saturday. Saturday, the one that we have locally. Yes. And then in the evening, or was it in the evening, you're going to fly to Vancouver. That's what we did. And I got him. I used my credit card, I think, that I already had, because me nilikuwa kimbele mbele. So already I've gone to the banks. I've gotten these things that I have things that is like they don't accept debit card. You need a credit card. I have that. Booked with my thing. And he went, man, and he won the Vancouver Sun Run. $3,000, just like that. And he just won the race the night before. Yeah. And then he won the next one. I was like, you know what? I can figure out the logistics for this. I go crazy now. I'm looking for races. I'm submitting races for this guy. And then I decided, maybe I don't enjoy the running, but I'll do this. The management side. Because I'm enjoying just trying to get onto gigs, trying to figure out visas for stuff. But we fell out shortly after that, and it was my only talent.
Agency I work.
Okay. Yeah, essentially because I moved out, and he also didn't. I mean, I was not being sensitive of what he had to work through. For him, this is it's also his blood, his soul, his blood and soul. So he doesn't want it being just commercialized like that. But me, I'm already figuring out the commercials. I'm like, so but I decided I'm going to stop, because I was now working a lot of jobs, day jobs. It made more economic sense to make that money and pay for fees and have the stipends, but the running required a lot of my time without the same return.
There are like a couple of really important conversations here, and I'm curious how those went down. Perhaps not you and your first client falling out in that conversation.
Kimosop.
Very but
talented guy,
the more interesting conversation for me is you and the coach, because this is a point you now push aside the running after you've seen potential in management. Is there a conversation between you and the coach, and how do you tell him this is no longer my thing? And also, does this mean whatever support you're getting is now pulled away?
Yeah, definitely. Because our support was straightforward. It was based on performance, right? It's based on, if you are part of the team, he'll put you in for the scholarship, right? and I was part of the scoring team. Basically, like you have to be the top 4 to score in cross country, something like that. But then,
how many Ks is cross country?
It depends, but that one in Canada was it 8K? It was 8K.
Okay.
But in the US it's 10. It's for the colleges. That's
okay.
I don't know about the professional circuit. I just know the colleges. There was no real other conversation. Even with me starting to do poaching his talent and whatnot, there was no real conversation. I just did it out of access because I have access to these guys, and I didn't have to talk to him. Like I had a better relationship with the guys, and I wasn't really poaching. I felt like I was adding value to what he was doing because he was very good training technically. He was training with the technicals, but he was doing logistics, but just almost he didn't. I don't think he enjoyed the technicals of booking buses, doing this. He just loved the training, the getting people to run, the racing, the all that, and that's what he was doing. And I guess he also did a lot of fundraising. This guy was soliciting, but for our scholarships we thought it was just money falling out of the sky. No, this guy was soliciting for money, like with people interested. People be like, yeah, I have these Kenyan students, sponsor them. I think he was paying out of his pocket some of it sometimes. I don't know, because it did, like he was just raising money left, right, and center. So but that is the stuff he was doing that we didn't even notice as kids. We just thought, hey. So as even for me, it was just a lot of naive energy. I was a kid who just has an idea, and I was like, an idea. I'm seeing an opportunity here that he's not even pursuing. That I'm like, we can make this work this way. Like we can run with this. We can have races. We can have races in Europe, in the States, in Canada. I'm gonna book all of them. And that was kind of the thing that informed.
I like this. Yeah. We've been here before. Audacity of youth.
Audacity of youth.
Yeah, like it was just audacity for me. Honestly, it was like, who did I think I was? Like, what I'm emailing these race organizers.
Yeah. I have a few questions there.
Yeah.
Again, about the audacity of youth. Was it something that was always innate, right? Or do you just find yourself doing it and making these very bold moves? Like even you wanting to be a manager to Kimosop, that's a very bold move at that age, right? In a foreign country, etc.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself? Or do you think that was there an internal conversation that maybe I can do this, okay? Or did you just find yourself doing it naturally?
No, it's not. It wasn't even. There was no conversation. It was just me seeing. Why is like, this needs to be done. It was like a thing of this needs to be done, rather than, I can do this. This is an opportunity. It's like even me spotting an opportunity. It's me realizing now that I was spotting opportunities. But back then I was not spotting. I was just doing a chore. This needs to be done, dude. We need to email this guy. They have told you to go. We need to book a flight. You need to do this ABCD. Blah 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 blah. You're gonna pay me back for the flight and stuff. And then later afterwards is when I was trying to tell him. So you're supposed to give me a commission.
Yeah, I need to get paid.
I need to get paid later. But at the moment, like in the heat of the, I'm just doing.
Yeah,
because it needs to be. It feels needs to be done.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know, man. Okay. I really have no idea, because I felt like that's the same thing I did when I started teaching drama here in Kericho and Bomet in those years
after high school.
It was just me thinking, I know these schools. My mother is a principal in one of them at that time, and she I am just like this. I could make. I just want to make money. I think I want to, and I also want to be busy. I used to make those, yo nini za unati. I used to make those things for the hands and sell them to those ones. But the ones with the names and stuff, with the Uzi too and plastic. So I used to weave those and sell them to these girls' schools because they used to love them. They have the boyfriend and the name. So in the process of doing that during the holidays, whenever we were home, because again, my dad just quit his job, so we are now staying where my mom is most of the time, and he was doing all the businesses he was doing from there. We were no longer in different places because we grew up in a lot of different places between the two of them because they were all zungukaring around. So when I started doing this in the holiday, I realized, what am I going to do? Because I'm already jittery. I was already nervous about my grades. I knew I was not going to do very well. Like I knew that it was gone, guys. Case I'm no unique. So how am I gonna figure out my life? So this was one of the things I was doing. While I'm doing it, I'm like, oh wait, I'm doing drama, and I know everything about. In my mind, I knew everything about drama, there was nothing I didn't know. So I felt so confident. So I tried to tell my mom, hey, listen, I want to come and teach drama here next when I finish school. She's like, no, that's, why would you, like, you're just a kid or whatever, but hey, I don't know, but then I realized later she was worried about the conflict of interest of her hiring me to do the drama there, but I didn't know that. So me, in my mind, I started talking to the teacher who was the music stroke drama teacher, but they never used to do drama, they just used to do music. And I'm telling him, hey, I have a play and I would love to do this. I mean, I just proceeded. Again, it's accessible. We're in the teachers' quarters. I can talk to the teachers, and I'm explaining to him the play. He reads my play. He's like, all right, I like it. And then my mother is like, not gonna happen because, again, conflict of interest. She's thinking that. So I tell this guy, hey man, she said it's not happening. So I go and get another school. So the other school accepts me. Now this guy goes and says, no, you cannot let that go. You have to, like, I remember it was called Mr. Kimeto. He's like, you gotta get this play. We have to do it here. This stuff. No, but because I've committed to the other place, I have to write another play for this one. So I call our drama trainer. You remember?
Do you want to mention him?
Hey,
I've mentioned it before, but you know, right?
Yeah, I know.
I call him and I'm like, hey, the play we did last year, we didn't make past district and it was a really good play. Can you let me have it? He was like, yeah. Change the title to Falls and Foxes. And then, I did the thing and he sent it to me. And he was it's such a shame though, right? Because he was really good in that.
Yeah. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Really good in that.
Yeah.
Is he performing now? I think he's performing. Do you think it's a performance?
Oh,
That's what I mean.
I don't. Depends on how you see it, but I'm also afraid we might throw the audience because they have no idea what it is.
Yeah. Very good call. Very good call.
Yeah.
Okay. So he sends me the play, and of course it was a beautiful, beautiful done play. So now my mom's school is getting a better play than even, because mine was almost amateur. So the other school, they got it, and I did both.
So you're taking two schools.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And my mother's the one. The Falls and Foxes obviously wins. The other schools, they kind of flop on. They came second though. Like it's just like
it's you at the
me
top.
again at the top, or third. I don't remember. But yeah, we went to provincials, and I ended up getting paid. But now the other ones, they had to pay the teacher because he's the one who now brought me in. It was him who got paid, and then he's the one who
give you
a cut.
Yeah,
Unlike Kimeto.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take it back to that season, yeah? Now, clearly, because I feel the direction Pia Kamande ilikuwa inaenda is, at what point do you see your entrepreneur side and your leadership qualities stepping forward? And clearly, it's not from, now I want to do this. It's more of, I'm stepping into a gap. Yeah. So how are you feeling the gap post athletics? Yeah. Now Canada, you've told us about the night gigs you're doing. What are these gigs, and how do we finish Kole over there?
Oh yeah, so now with Canada, it was a different. It's one of those things where it just starts happening, where I'm realizing, man, I do not have. I'm not very happy. The athletics is not working through. I'm doing jobs day and night. I'm in college. I'm doing very well. Like, I'm honors and everything.
What are you studying?
Business administration, marketing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which I also went to study something else, but anyways, another story. That's another long story. Forget about it. So school is going well, but then I think the last semester, because now it was a 2-year diploma. Because what happened was I was supposed to go to Campo, but then I realized it's cheaper to get a 2-year diploma than get credits for 2 years in uni. So you'll get 4 years, but you paid less for the 2 years. That was the plan. I go in and I start doing these. I think we were. I don't know what it was. Is it marketing strategy, or was it one of the courses that we was doing? Just gave me a glimpse of what it is like working in a marketing corporate setting, agency, because that's where I was headed. I was like, I'll do marketing, I'll do agency. So if you're doing marketing, it's agency and creative and stuff. And I obviously want to do the creative part of it. And I think I got a glimpse of what it looks like. And I was like, I think I made the wrong decision. I'm not going to do this well. And again, another crisis almost gets me because I'm almost finishing school, doing very well. The option is obviously to go, uni or get a job. And then I started thinking, man, but then I've been watching stand-up on TV a lot. Like I'm falling in love with it. But remember, in my mind, I even remember being told when I was here, hey, maybe you should try stand-up. I don't know who said that. At least one or two people said that. And stand-up was not a thing I understood yet. So when I was there, I'm seeing it now live. But I'm like, oh, man, I feel like I could do that. But it's a lot of... I don't know these people. So I know how to make people I know laugh. But people I don't know how to make them laugh. So I'm like, such a shame. I feel like I could, or I could pre-plan what I'm going to say and then do it. And then I was like, but then I would feel like such a fraud. So I'm not going to do it. Because in my mind, I used to think stand-up was improv. I didn't realize stand-up, you have to also prepare somewhat. So there's a way that I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's such a shame. I wish I could do that. But then I think I watched Russell Peters on TV.
He's actually Canadian, right?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
He's Canadian. At this point, he's on top of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's on top of the game. I watched an old special that he had done maybe in '99, but they used to re-air it or something. I think it probably is the same one that it's not the same one that was posted and made him huge on YouTube. It's the other one. So I'm watching it and I'm like, damn, man. And then I watch on YouTube, he did the same joke in a different... Holy, you can do this? Then I can do this.
Yeah.
Looking for places to do stand-up in Lethbridge where I was, and there was nothing. So next nearby, I enrolled immediately. I'm like, listen, I have background in this I'm going to do. And this guy invites me for a competition that was meant for guys who've been doing it for a while. But he didn't care. He was just trying to fill up the line, the roster and stuff. And I went there and I did okay. I was happy with it. It was supposed to be a secret. Nobody was supposed to know. But then
you didn't tell any of your friends?
I didn't. I wasn't gonna. But then one of my friends, he found me rehearsing and he's like, what are you doing, man? I was like, what? And I was like, I'm gonna try out this stupid something thing, stand-up comedy thing. Yeah. It's like, oh, I can actually see you doing that. It's not bad. I was like, all right, thanks. That makes sense. And then turns around and I'm like, yeah, but hey, keep it between you and me, man. And then the car that I had, this old ass car, just broke down. And I was like, I don't think it can make the distance. And it's winter. You don't want it to break on you in the middle of the road. So I tell him, man, yeah, he has 2 cars, this guy. He's like, can I borrow your tiny car to get me to car? You think you can reach? He's like, so you're actually doing it? Yeah. Okay, cool. No, I'll bring he has a big car.
Yeah.
I'll give you we're going. Oh, nice. All right, cool. At least he knows. Didn't realize he stole like 6 other people. His brother, my roommate, his girlfriend, everyone. So we just have like 6 of us. We drive up to Calgary and I did well. But I lost the competition, as you should. And now the bug has bitten. Or stand-up is music, you need this, theater, you need this, stand-up, you just need microphone. Standing up. And I was addicted. Guys are telling me this is where you'll be getting the gigs, this is how we do it. Dude, I think every week or every 2 weeks I was driving 2 hours to go and perform and come back. Like, I'm just relentlessly. Even by the time school ends, Nini, I'm still going. Now I'm graduated, Nini, which I didn't even bother for I'm done. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to do this.
You know what you want.
I am doing this. Like, no, all the other things have been like, what is like, all the other things I've been measuring the success value of it, like the finance aspect, be like, what about the theater, what about the industry? Stand up, I was like, I'm doing this. I didn't even think about the other stuff. It's not like I thought about it, I'm like, I don't care. No, I didn't think about it. I was just like, I'm gonna do stand up. And yeah, within like 6 months I moved to Calgary, which was like a few hours from where we were. And yeah, man.
And there's a huge scene there, at least, or rather,
it was
scene.
It was bigger scene. That's where it opened most of my doors as well, because now I started doing it, and I was again. Now I know about Hollywood, but I'm not interested in that thing per se. That's what most Canadian comics used to do. Was after they get a certain level, they move to the States. I wasn't even interested in that. I'm like, I'll do it here where it is happening.
Yeah.
And
a couple of questions. So, obviously, one, how are you sustaining yourself now you're out of uni? Do you still have to do other jobs in order to pay the bills? Because in as much as you're not giving a rat's about the money, you still need to pay bills, right? So are you sustaining that? And then two, what's your creative strategy now? How are you writing this? Are you what's your process of writing?
Do you
have
have do you have an act?
Do you have an act?
This guy?
Yeah, are you this guy? Like, yeah, how are you shaping?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, for sustenance, I was working just regular jobs. I used to have a job at a car lube station where you used to change lube for cars. Did a job. I did many jobs. I even did a sales job at a furniture and electronics store. Then eventually I found a job that was also very instrumental in what I was doing. I did that small training. It became a safety, risk management safety guy, kidogo, and then it just grew, became a specialist, a high angle rescue technician, and it was a shitload of money that I used to go and work in the oil fields. Like during the summer when comedy was slow, I'd work for like 3 months of the year, and then the rest of the time I'm just doing comedy. And the money I would make
enough.
The money was enough to just carry me through the year.
Wow.
But with comedy, now I've started also, eventually after like 2 years, I started getting paid gigs, right? But now with comedy as well, I'm also doing, there's no act, but I know the strategy is you build an act slowly, organically. You're not forcing an act. It's just me performing my bits. Of course, there's the Kenyan angle. I'm Kenyan, I'm African, and then get that out of the way, explains the accent, and then I got into jokes. And that was the main... It was just like a natural process of just writing as I go. And because the beauty of that as well is the open mics are meant for that. You grow your act, you build a routine in that pole.
It's like they call them comedy rooms, comedy clubs.
Yeah, the rooms, comedy rooms, basically. Comedy club is where you actually get paid. You perform fully. It's a full-time club, like the Nairobi Laugh Bar that we have now. It's supposed to be a full-time club that pays comedians, and they also get people come in. But the comedy rooms are the off like the satellite, where it's a small room with 20 people. You're performing your material, you're trying it out in front of
yes.
Which also the comedy club has an open mic where comedians are trying out material, but at least they have tried it out before in a room, right? And so that's the idea. So we're just building. You're building with the young. Those guys give you tips. You build up your bit till the bit is good enough. You add it into a set, and the set, you have several sets. You start having an act, a routine. And that also was kind of an organic process that I didn't have to think about. As long as I'm performing, all I had to worry about was I get on stage as many times as possible. So at some point I'd be getting on stage and then in the first or the second summer after I moved to Calgary, there's this comedy club. The owner just liked me. It's like, hey man, you want to be a resident guest?
Oh, nice.
For a bit for the summer, because it's slow, there's not a lot of comedians. He needs people to fill the time anyways, and I need the stage time. And the stage time is very competitive because there's so many other comics. But after he saw me, he's like, you know what, I'll have you can come as much as you want, man. So, and then this club used to have many shows. They'll have like from Tuesday to Sunday, a show every night, Friday and Saturday, 2 nights, and Sunday and night. So it was 8 shows a week.
Wow.
Plus there are other rooms that you're doing Wednesday, Monday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd be
really putting in the reps.
I'm putting in the reps, bro. Like the Comedy Cave. Oh man, shout out to the Comedy Cave, man. They get that summer. They just put me on. Like, and I think I grew leaps and bounds that summer. Just performing. And this is before I had that other job that I used to go out for. So I just go on. I just do 7 minutes at a time. 7 minutes at a time. That's when even I learned. He started telling me, okay, you cannot be doing new jokes full. I don't want that. I'm not booking you for new jokes. I want the tried and tested. So if you're going to build your act, you sneak them in. Like 2 minutes at a time or 3 minutes at a time out of the 7. You don't do a full 7. You don't do a full kamikaze. It's a suicide mission to just do a full 7 minutes with brand new jokes, and you're a new comic.
Yeah.
So I learned that. I was like, all right, that's another technique. So I just started stashing it in. The other clubs too, they are loving me. They're putting me on as much as possible. And I just did that, like reps.
Are you enjoying it?
The time of my life. I'm not even noticing what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't even notice time is passing by. Like my work permit is almost expiring. I'm not noticing. I'm just doing comedy, man. Did so much time between. It was like there was 3 of us at that point now. The guys who are just kind of the young ones who are kind of just putting in the work. They're in every stage, every night. Like I'm doing this stage and then I drive very fast to the other one.
Yeah.
There was like 3 of us happening at that time. It was a guy called Chris Griffin and I was thinking Marito. And dude, it was amazing. We were just having fun. And work I'd be, and then on the Sunday nights I'd do this, the cave, and then I go to another mic, and then we do karaoke there. I go to work in the morning tired and groggy, but I didn't care, man. I would be showing up to work 5 minutes late every day consistently. At least I was consistent, and dude, it was consistently late. It was like, but it became a thing, man, and it became a lifestyle. It consumed me completely. And then in the process, around the year 2, I get onto a showcase that they put pros, like comedians who've been doing this for a long time, who are actually tried and tested, are the ones who've been put on a showcase, and the occasional new talent. And that was, for me, me that year. And usually the showcase is usually you have big festivals like Just for Laughs or Winnipeg Comedy Festival.
Just for Laughs is big in Canada.
Yes. Yeah. So I got on the Just for Laughs showcase.
Whoa.
A couple of times, didn't make both. The third one that I was gonna make for sure, when they really wanted to see me, there was a miscommunication with the agent, so I didn't make it. So it was supposed to be in Toronto because I was touring in Toronto that time, but when I went to But for me, I'm looking at the economic. I'm like, my gig in Toronto is on Thursday evening. I'm flying in Thursday morning. But they had put me on the showcase on Wednesday. And it was too late. I found out on Tuesday. I was really bummed out about that because I would have gotten on. But at least I got on. But I got to the other big festivals. So the first one I got to on was Winnipeg Comedy Festival. They came and did the showcase in town. And everyone, were doing, and I murdered. And I guess I had also fit the theme they had for the year. So I'm the only guy who got picked that year, the breakout guy. And that kind of changed my career as well, because it opened more doors for what I was going to do after that. Gave me more gigs and all that stuff. And, put me on the national highlight. Yeah.
Is there anything to be said about maybe the fact that you're Kenyan and African? Or is there a cultural... is there some cultural navigation that needs to be done? Are people receiving you well? I know Canada is super, super open, which is very lovely. But are there any sort of things that you sort of have to sidestep and navigate through in order for you to fit in? Are there challenges that come with you being Kenyan and a black person?
Yeah. Remember how I talked about the accent, for example?
Yeah.
The booking agent at that time, she told me, clients are just having difficulty understanding you. And I was a bit pissed off at the time, but it makes sense. It made sense. Because she was like, but I speak English. What are you talking about? Then they're racist. I'm like, yeah. They can be whatever they want to be. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
It is what it is.
But the truth is the truth. And she was telling me that. So that means I missed out on a lot of paid gigs, which at a certain stage in a career of a comedian, corporates are what pays the bills. Corporates are the best gigs because they pay the bills and they're difficult, but So for me, she told me that and I was kind of offended, but she was right. So that was one of the, obstacles I felt was there, because just connecting with that audience is a thing. Was a difficult thing. Then the other one was the flip side was the more progressive spaces didn't mind having a diverse audience, a diverse comedian. It wasn't an impediment. It was even a plus for them.
Yeah.
So they were very happy to put me on. Like when I did Winnipeg, they killed 2 birds with 1 stone. They got a funny comic and it's diverse. It was a way, but I don't think it's the diversity that made them hire me, but it helped.
That's actually a thing in corporate diversity hires.
Yeah, which is a thing I didn't want to be.
Yeah,
because it's a dangerous place
it
to be in.
says on the other side, it sort of says something about skill.
Yeah.
But in this case, Ukono, skill is there.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing.
It's a good thing that we don't have to worry about now falling up for
box.
diversity. You know, so it there was a lot of that.
Definitely that. You've mentioned two things: work permit, and getting so much into it you don't even notice time. Soon enough, you're here, you're back home. So how do we now, just maybe in a thought or two, what are the lessons between you needing to leave or having to leave or deciding to leave, and you now being at the top of your game, more or less? I don't want to say top of your game because it's a story. So there's still so much more wins in front of you. But in that moment, feeling top of my game, but soon enough realizing that an exit has to come. How is that, and what are the lessons there?
Oh man, one of the things I realized at that point, man, I tend to talk and talk. I'm gonna try and condense it. Was when I know it's time to leave, right? I realized I would have had to look for to get a permit. It's a long story. To get permanent residence, and I was not gonna use my day job because I guess I didn't do it enough. The one that I should have done was a self-employed one, which I was because as a comedian, but it was a long process, and it would have.
How many years do you need to have been there in order to apply for PR?
I don't remember. Was it 4 or 7?
Whoa.
No, it's 4 doing a specific thing.
Okay.
But in total, to be able to do that specific thing for me would have taken 7 years, which it took 7 years. And I had done everything that I thought I needed to do. But then they just said, we don't think you did what we don't think. We begged to differ. They begged to differ, and they begged me. They told me, I beg you, I want to differ with you. No, they didn't. Such a weird word to say, I beg to differ. Are you begging me? Yeah, so they differed. So in that instance, I realized, okay, I have to go home. I don't mind coming back. I really didn't. There was also something missing, and I needed to coming home filled that void instantly. Like instantly made me.
Sorry, in between the 7 years, were you coming home for the holidays, summers?
Yeah, I came at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in twice.
Okay, so you still connected a bit.
A bit. And actually, I think it's coming home that made me go, like, I don't care. Like usually the default thing would have been fight to stay here if it means staying here. But I came here and my pals are doing so well. I was just like, man, I'm missing out on this as well. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind. Yeah. So when they told me Nini, I didn't even try and fight it. I was like, all right. Good. I'll just go. I don't. I'll go back home. I'll see that new adventure at home. I want to go and figure out that new adventure. But there was another thing too that actually Arthur was telling me back then, because he was now killing it. But he was telling me, man, this is one thing you're gonna need to learn is you're gonna need a constituency. Because somehow, however much you achieve as a funny comic, and now the extra layer of diversity, you can't run away from it. You are diverse, and you'll always be diverse. But that always means now you are an invited guest at the table. You'll be at the table, but you're invited. You need to go, and it's best if you are doing it from home. And that's around the same time Trevor Noah was just getting from Africa, going to the rest of the world. So it just made sense that, this guy is actually showing up with his constituency. He's coming from Africa. You're not an homegrown. So on the other side, I'm a homegrown talent in Canada without belonging there. So it's different in that sense. So for me, I learned that, hey, having a home base is always best. Like being based from home here.
Yeah.
Best. Like you go, you're pursuing Hollywood, you're pursuing, and you're always going to be a guest at the table.
Yeah.
You're not the guy at the table.
It's not your constituency.
Yeah. It's not your constituency. So you have to build that thing. And that was what inspired a lot of what I had to do here when I decided again, maybe it's time to do comedy again, because I thought I had quit. I thought, hey, comedy's done for me.
Oh wow, look at that.
It feels like a different act altogether.
Yeah.
Like a third act.
A third act.
Before we get there, imekuja tu kwa mind. 1,000 true fans.
1,000 true fans.
Feels like
Kevin Kelly.
That's right.
Hey.
Yeah, that's your constituency. You need. So I'm just agreeing because Nico. Yeah. Oh man, these lessons are always so exciting to.
Yeah. So
land
build your
upon.
constituency first.
Yes.
And then.
Yeah.
Everything else. So let's talk about the planning. So you've realized, okay, and you've made the decision actually that now it's time to go back home and do this. What's your plan?
There's no plan, man.
Is this when you feel like you want to quit? Do you actually quit?
Yeah. Because I'm almost bitter at stand-up because it got me in this mess.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How did I miss that?
If you had a day job, then maybe you'd have had better chances of getting a residency.
Yeah, and I could have just waited. Do a day job, then do your silly comedy after you got your permanent residency. That's what I was thinking. But also knowing what the urge was, it was impossible. Like the thing that was burning inside me to do stand-up, there was no way I could have stopped it. And now that I'm older and wiser, I know there was no way to stop it. You better just do it and do it properly, though.
And the regret would have been much bigger.
Yeah. So in my mind, I was just like, damn, you have to do this. So when I was a bit bitter and stuff, but I had other aspirations. I want to come and try things. I want to do the things I left behind that I could have done before I went to college. And now I'm like, maybe I do them again. Maybe I can do business again. Maybe I can go try farming, do all that stuff. And that's essentially, farming was my therapy for the period when I came back. When I was pissed off and working through these old emotions about what did I miss out? How did I fuck up? But so I did a lot of farming, and that kind of helped me.
So you came and went back home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bomet.
Not just Bomet, Nakuru or Lenguruane, deep, where nobody knew who the hell I was.
Yeah.
I just kept my head down and I just did that. And again, while I'm farming, I'm doing all these things. No time, I'm writing again. Like I couldn't help it.
You can't help it.
I can't help it. Like I pull out my laptop. I wrote a feature play in Calais. Like not a play like feature film.
Yeah,
it was intended to be a feature film, like a story. And I was just like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I should be out there checking the crops and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm inside. I'm just like, man. It was another Eureka moment where I'm like, yeah, man, what are you running away from?
Yeah, you can't run away from this.
So I started doing, and then I also got involved in construction. I had a small construction company with a friend of mine, which kind of kept me busy for a whole of 2 years, give or take. But even that got again to where boiling over again, and I'm just like, damn, I guess I have to go back to doing the thing.
Yeah, let's maybe double click slightly on how you deal with this frustration, right?
Yeah.
So you're frustrated, you're pissed off. That's not a good place to be mentally, right?
No.
So between that and deciding to do the farming, etc., how do you sort of take care of yourself mentally?
Oh man.
Because I suppose you're in a bad place.
Yeah. I was really, the type of taking care of myself mentally was almost non-existent. I lived very well in denial. Very good at denial. I
like that.
I can deny, bro. That to be fair, almost always helps me see the light at the end of the tunnel.
The living in denial.
Yeah, the living in denial makes me think, no, the things are gonna turn around. Yeah, things are fine. No, it's just a fix that I need to do. And then over time, as your brain comes around, and because the beautiful thing was I was not idle. I was actively doing things, and I feel like being in touch with the earth really just grounded me in a way. Like it just made me realize what's important and what's not. And then I was also privileged a bit to be around people who are really dealing with life in a whole other way. That I'm living with these people, they live day to day. They are like this guy just goes and hopes to make 100 shillings, and he has like 3 kids and a family. In the evening, that's all he's living for that day. If he makes 200, 300, it's even better. And all he knows is says all I have to do is be alive. And he's not saying it like telling me, oh, I'm figuring out. He doesn't even, to him, life is good. He's okay. Like, as long as I can work, I can do this, I don't have to worry about tomorrow. We eat what's there. And that's their motto. And I just, this kind of stuff, when I was in there, like, remember, I'm in this place. So the Bomet that my shags was in is right at the border of the Mau and Nakuru Mau and Bomet Mau. So it's like this area. So there's also a whole bunch of people who came from the Dorobos, the Ogik, who live around that area. So their life is hunting and gathering, and they don't worry about every day. I became a hippie or hipster for like I was just like hippie life.
That's very like simple. Like,
simple as heck. You're not realizing. Everybody, I guess.
Umeondokea matrix.
Nimeondokea matrix. Kabisa. Like they were gone. And I mean, I'm sure people were worried that enough people were worried, but it was a different existence altogether. Different existence. But it kind of put things in perspective after a while. Also organically. So like just in that period of doing this, I started realizing, interesting. Also that. I guess that. And that. So it became for me afterwards, being aspirational becomes a privilege. Being able to just aspire to things and you actually pursue those things that you aspire to became a privilege, because these other people are just living for the day. They just want to live, eat, and everything. And even the best they can think of is like these kids. Oh, this one, like he used to show me the kids because we became very good friends. And he used to be like, oh, this kid is going to go place. This kid is going to study. He's going to go out of here. It's going to be good. This kid is my hope. Like, and it's a brilliant kid. He has a lot of hope on him. And then the other one is like, this guy is going to just do what I'm doing. And then this other guy, he was hilarious. But then you start realizing, man, it changes a bit of how you look at things. You stop being too spoiled.
Yeah. This is exactly what you needed then. This was the healing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because I'm just like, what am I going to lose? As long as I'm alive, what am I going to lose? I got to do what I want to do. Like, there's no like, I can't have compromises after that. I can't come back here and be like, oh, just do this as you figure out what
just next. Go back to
just get an accounting. Just get an accounting job as you figure out.
Be a marketing manager.
Yeah, and then hopefully, and then you'll see, this life is about balance. It's like, no, I've lost everything. I'll lose again. So it might as well be something that I like to add, so that the process becomes. So it also changes how I started looking at life, whereby I'm like, I want to be there, but I'm like, it becomes like where I am is where I need to be. I want to be where I am, and I need to enjoy what I'm doing in the moment. So if you get there, that's fine. That's a bonus. Everything becomes a bonus. So the journey becomes, the success becomes the journey.
Yeah.
The journey, if you are actually on the path,
not a goal, not
a destination, not a goal. Yeah. And there's a lot of heartbreaks too with that. I realized as you think, oh, I want to get on that big stage, and then you get on it and you're like, now what? Gives you a crisis of existence. But if the journey is what you're doing, it's part of the journey, it's different. It's a different ballgame.
You're winning already.
You're winning already.
Yeah.
You're winning already, and you're doing these things as you go. And man, it just blessed.
Yeah.
Then this clearly, this realization, inatoa the word rebuilding, from my question. Yeah, my next question would have been, how do you rebuild into comedy? But I guess with this realization, it's not really rebuilding. So how do you what's the path like back to now professional comedy? And is this attached to now you coming back to Nairobi? Yeah? How does that go?
So I come to Nairobi. So admittedly, when I was doing construction, which was also another fun thing to do, the first times when you're building, because I built the house that I lived in that.
Oh, you built it yourself, yeah.
Yeah. I built a cabin. It wasn't a big house, but it's a cabin, right? But now coming back to Nairobi was a result of now I've been doing construction, but I've gone from being involved in because we did the construction company with my friend, being involved with the design day to day. How do you like that? Then house. So now I'm again having a bunch of guys doing the projects, and I'm just running it, managing again, and the fun is gone. Because I'm no longer worried about the small things and everything. We started doing volumes. We were scaling up. My friend was big on scaling up as well. And so we're scaling, and I'm like, it's great, but it's taken the fun out of me. And then of course, even naturally, conflicts start coming because of just difference in styles. I wouldn't say anybody was wrong or right, but difference in styles and the people we're working with. So we agree, and I was like, you know what, man, I might have to pull back a little bit. He was like, okay, how so? And I was just explaining to him. He was like, makes sense. Because ironically, he works in a marketing agency. He's a marketing guy.
Yeah.
He offered me a job like 3 times. And I was like, give me a few more months. So when we finally partnered up in the stuff we were doing, it was a perfect marriage of us working together because we've been best friends for years. So it's like, it works. It's okay. So now when I explained to him, I was like, I feel like I just need to do this again.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I think you should. I think you should. So we worked out the mathematics. He bought me out, and then I just moved to Nairobi. And I think around the same time also, that maybe a few months prior, I had just met my wife now. And so it was like, it's great because she's got a job in Nairobi. She had just relocated. She came back from the States and got a job in Nairobi. So I was like, it's perfect. So I'll move to Nairobi. Then we'll work. I'll start with comedy. Like I'll start with comedy because there was guys who had done stuff, but like I wish Nani had these flowers, but Brian and Joro and then Emmanuel Kisiangane, they kept doing this club.
Oh, Emmanuel had been doing that for a minute.
Yeah. No, but they were doing it wrong. That's what I told them.
That's where you came in.
That's why I came in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just wrong. But I don't think it was doing it wrong. It was just that they are just caught up in what was happening. And Brian had a Nairobi Comedy Club, and he was doing these things. And honestly, it was not wrong. He was not doing it wrong. It was just a joke. But what he was doing was different. He could have done it. I felt we could have done it differently. So even while I was doing constructions and stuff, that is the one who give me the itch. He used to invite me to come to do his shows. So I'd come and I'm like,
I still got it.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Come back. And I was like, hey guys, how are we?
Getting your dose.
Yeah, getting my dose. Emmanuel also started Karura Comedy Club around the time. And I was like, guys, where's the consistency? How comes it's so unpredictable? Turns out it's all the arrangements and personality clashes that they'd have with the owners from time to time and all that stuff. So they'd be like, so I told them, you know what? Actually, it's going to be good if we all do it collectively. Because I realize it's a burden for you. To put on a show is a fucking bitch. It's a bitch. And you know that.
Yeah.
And especially when you're starting out. And then now we're doing it, and there's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of talent. There's not a lot of audience for it as well. So this guy's doing, every time he does it, it's a loss. Somebody's going to lose something. Emmanuel does it. So I was like, to make it easier, it'll be easier if I do a show, you do a show, and then we just supporting each other as we grow. But that didn't end up happening because of, again, people fell off the wagon for different reasons in different ways. So, but when I moved, I was like, I'll make sure we have a stage consistently every month, come rain, come sunshine. That's the first step I took. And then I got the comics, and I made sure also, because I noticed to the other stages, the lineup would always change because it's people who trying comedy for the first time and they never come back again. So I was like, oh, these guys have potential. The guys that had potential, I was like, guys, we'll have a show every month. Come on, it's cool. George Oero was one of the guys. Justine Wanda, the other one, Emmanuel. And we agreed, all right, we'll do a show. And even Mamito was also getting into stand-up.
What year is this again?
This is 2018.
2017,
2018. 2017, 2018, yeah. People like Mamito, they've been doing TV, they are famous already, but she's like, I want to figure out the craft. Like, it's those people who are lucky to figure out early, what I have is talent, I need to figure out the skill. So I need to figure out the skill immediately. So we were there working together. So we start with these rooms, and we started the Blues, and I talked to the guys at the Blues, and I was like, man, he told me the conflict he's been having with organizers and stuff, and I told him, listen, how we take care of this conflict is, first of all, I don't want any money from you. Just let me use what you already have. Your days are already not that busy. Let's work together this way. And I explained to him the whole vision, and he's like, all right, try it. But I'm giving you, I'm watching you do it properly. Because it's been, people would come and mess around with it a lot. And we did it, man. 6 months later, we're like, all right. First of all, the product is working. We'd get 20 people and they have the time of their lives. Or even sometimes 10 people. But they had the time of their lives. I was like, great. The comics are the same. They're coming back. They're building. They're learning the skill. They're not changing. So we're consistent on that front. So that was what I felt like we were fixing already, that I was telling Emmanuel and Brian. We have fixed that. It's a good thing. Secondly, we start going into... now we're saying, okay, we need writing sessions. We need to write. We need to open mic. So we start. I talk to the guy again. I'm like, okay, your Mondays are dead in the evenings. You have the mics. Let's work together. Again, this is the idea. So build up for that. Mondays, we're working. Every Monday, we are writing. We are performing. We're doing that thing. We are workshopping.
Madness. Sorry, Doug. I have to stop you because right now I'm smiling because your story has come around. Imagine if you resisted going to Canada.
Right?
Imagine. So you notice the difference here. The difference is you're coming in with so much knowledge, so much experience that you picked up from somewhere that you did not want to go in the first place. But the universe was taking care of you.
Yeah, bruv, right?
Yeah.
I look at it now. Now that when you point it out, it's crazy to me now.
It's madness because that's the difference between what your pals were doing and what everyone was trying to do, because they'd never been to Calgary.
No, man,
right?
No.
They'd never done the shows cross country. They'd never done Winnipeg.
Yeah, dude.
Right? And imagine if you stayed here, then
that never would have happened.
Yeah, that would never have happened.
That never would have happened.
And there you are trying to resist going to Canada.
Man, I know.
Yeah, anyway,
Folly
please
of
go
youth.
on. It's just like
Coming circle.
Yeah, the universe works in so
It's
if we just let it work for us,
It
right?
actually is insane.
Yeah,
when
it
you put
works in such a beautiful way.
And even to add to what you're saying, there are some things I had envisioned when I was going to Canada, when I was in Canada, and they're all kind of coming together.
It's a manifestation.
These times are coming. Even when I came, even when I was quitting construction, my thing was I wanted to start a comedy club like the one we used to have in Canada. Like comedians coming, like a real comedy club for people to come on. But that would have been a huge risk financially. And there was no capacity for fixing it. So I went back and I realized there's no way I'll start a comedy club when there's no local capacity to sustain it. So the goal was to develop local capacity as much as possible. So then we start having a comedy club full time in the long run. And that shit just falling into place. And I realized sometimes you just will things, do what you need to do, and then the things just fall into place.
Yeah, because the mind is a forerunner to all this.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Alignment for sure.
Yeah. Alignment. Because and then working with these guys too, with Kina Emmanuel, Kina Brian and them, and even Mamito at those times. And Amandip also came. We were 4 consistent people at that time. We 4 in 2017, then George and them joined later and were like 7 or 6. And then working with them was just a thing because we were all on the same page about what we wanted. Plus a few variations, right? Like, because I don't think Brian is active anymore, but it was one of those things where it's just like, but now we are on the same path and everyone is now doing the exact same things. Guys are now doing their own one-mans as well while maintaining the scene. Like Amandip just recorded his one-man special. Mamito has done. Emmanuel did. No, I think Emmanuel did as well something. And it's just one of those things where we have all these other guys, even younger guys who came way later recording their doing their own thing.
Ty or Ty comes much later?
Yeah, Ty comes in much later. But again, he's doing the one-mans. All these things that we envisioned just came together somehow, and it was such a thing. In fact, the first hint of those things happening, we were just like, yes, bring it on, bring it on. And
Run with it.
yeah, man.
Are you this season, have you attached a name to this community?
Not yet. At that point, it was just, I was running most things off of my Doug Mutai page on Facebook, which had a sizable amount of Kenyan fans, because I guess in 2010, 2011, there wasn't a lot of Kenyan comedians, especially abroad, or even locally. So, because all the guys here locally, so guys would Google Kenyan comedians, and the people would be Googling or whatever, searching it. A lot of my fan base, I realized, was Kenyan. Even while I was active in Canada, I was not active here. So when I came back, it just came together. So people from that page were coming. So it was Bidag, Mutai, and then Karura Comedy Club, because I was also very jittery with the idea that it's my name that is fronting, that I didn't like that too much. I wanted a bit of distance. So after a while is when I came up with Stand Up Collective. I was like, all right, Stand Up Collective, because my vision was and has always been, let's collectively work together to build the ecosystem and the culture. And then, like, the analogy I used to use was like, we all work together to build a dam, and then we'll draw from that dam together.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to sustain all of you.
Sustain all of us instead of fighting for paddles and stuff. Like, you're like, pool, small pool. So, and that's what the thing, and I'm glad everyone got on board with that. Yeah.
COVID, let's talk about that season.
Yes.
Right? So you've just begun, things are taking off, and then boom, 2019, 13th of March.
2020.
Yeah.
2020. Yeah, 2020, 13th of March. I remember I was celebrating my son's birthday because he's 10th of March. And so the Saturday after was 13th. That's when we had the celebration.
Yeah.
So I never forget.
Dude, COVID.
Yeah.
Man. End of 2019, we're getting a nice momentum. We even put, Emmanuel was already at radio. We put some money together.
Oh, yeah.
And we did a Nairobi International Comedy Festivals. So not only are we doing it locally, we're inviting our friends from Zimbabwe. Long John from Zimbabwe, Orlan Mojonasi. He's a big comic now, he's in the States. Akau Jambo, South Sudan, very funny guy. Daniel Omara, Uganda. We're bringing guys. We even wanted to bring KG from South Africa, but the money didn't, ikaisha. But we wanted to do a festival. We are doing guys,
This happened
2 years ago we didn't have anything. Now we're doing a comedy festival. It was amazing. So we're so happy, and it gave us a lot of mojo. I mean, we lost a lot of money that year, but we were so content because we're like, now we're onto something. Now January starts. We're still doing the monthly shows. February shows packed. The shows are packed. The January show was packed. February show
still
was
at
packed.
Blues.
March show, Akao Jambo comes back. He's passing by. He's on his way to Australia.
So early March now.
Early March. He's on his way to Australia, but COVID is already COVID is doing its thing. He was actually supposed to go to Singapore, like Asia, and then Australia on tour. He comes to Nairobi, does the gig in Nairobi, and then the next week he was supposed to go to Asia, but he's like, dude, this COVID thing is getting crazy. I think I'll just have to change my flight plan, so I'll just go straight to Australia. So, hey, we do a show for him first Saturday of March. Nice, fantastic show. People loved it, obviously. It was amazing. And then we tell guys, and then he tells me, man, on Friday when he arrived, he was like, hey, I don't think I'll go. I'll be around next week. I was like, do you want to do another show again next week? He was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Are we allowed to cuss on this?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. So I felt, I wanted to make sure. So we agrees and we do another show. We put it out. Poster is out, ready to do it. The show was supposed to be on 13th Feb.
Yeah.
When we shut down, I think. I don't remember. 13th March.
March.
Yeah, when the day that was
The day of.
with the day of
I think 13th was a Friday.
Friday.
That's when they
So it was supposed to be 14th,
14th.
and we shut down on
Yeah,
13th, right?
yeah.
It was supposed to be 14th. Dude, even we sold the tickets on the 7th, whatever, the week before, on the show. Guys bought the tickets for the next show before the poster is even out. And then we're like ready. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
He's gonna do longer because he's decided he's not gonna do Asia. He's just gonna do this and go to Australia, which he ended up canceling again, obviously. And he actually got stuck in Kenya for a while. So, dude, man, COVID shows up, man. This is the first time we've sold so many tickets ahead of time. Right?
Yeah.
Like the anxiety that I normally have on Friday evenings was out of this world. Like it was real. Like my lady used to be like, hey man, you gotta come. People will come. Just calm down. She was like, it's easier to even lie to you because I was a bag of nerves, man. You do not fucking know. And I felt like everything was pegged on it. Every time, like I'm like, I don't want that guy to be pissed off and be like, you guys are not useful anymore. Yeah, you're not useful anymore. Yeah. So every Friday it would be, the anxiety was insane. But this time, none. Because I'm like, I used to know if we have sold 2 tickets on Monday, we'll be fine on Saturday. We'll have some walk-ins. We'll have, and I'd be happy. And my standards were very low. I'm like, as long as we have 15 people having a good time,
I'm
we're
good.
right? That means, so this time, dude, on Monday, I think we've sold at least 10 tickets. I'm like, right on. It's going to be great. This is going to be good. This is going to be a sold out show for sure. That's how I'm thinking. Because, by the way, the show before, he was not even part of the lineup. He was just a guest. So people didn't know he was there. It's going to be there. So that people are going, oh, I'm excited. My man. 13th. Wait. Oh, my cancelled, man. 14th. It's going to be 2 weeks only. COVID did the thing, yeah? The thing, we started doing the thing. And then, of course, now immediately you realize, hey, kumbe, I already kind of knew it, but it was just a reaffirmation that kumbe comedy is just more than a paycheck for you.
Tell me about it.
It's part of your existence. It's the thing you gotta do somehow. And so we're doing this online. We're trying to figure it out. What the future comedy of the future. What the fuck were we doing? You know, we're doing all these things, streaming, try and do a Zoom show.
That was weird. Yeah.
Pathetic nonsense. Zoom. Pathetic.
True story.
Nonsense.
We even did plays.
I remember.
Online. This is weird. So I totally agree.
It was so weird not to feel the direct energy with people. But I mean, we did it to survive, right? We did it, and it was okay for some parts, and we wrote and everything. But dude, COVID also kind of shone a spotlight on us, because when we opened back up, we were Two Grapes is the first. No, we did Blues, and then Two Grapes said we are still doing weekly, because they decided they were doing weekly. That was the guys at Punchline. They're gonna do weekly shows. So when they opened the back up, gatherings have been limited. So our shows are the only comedy shows happening, which also helps, because now people are realizing, comedy is not just what Dan was doing as Dan and Churchill show, which was a big concert show. We realize, people are also realizing that it's not only that, right? Because prior to that, if you say you're a Kenyan comic, people are like, have I seen Churchill? So that, but like, yes, but that's not the reason.
But even during the COVID period, people have interacted more with different forms of queer types of content.
Yes.
Because of being locked up.
Yes. So it opened up a whole other floodgate.
Yeah.
It was just for a moment. It was for a period. The darkness was for a period for us, as far as we're concerned. Because I mean, even halfway through, I was even doing sketches with Kinamamito Nini.
At some point, Nilikuwa, are you now doing social media sketches?
Yeah, I just needed an outlet, man. I remember profound thing. One guy, anaitwa Don Nyachio. We met one day when we were doing that thing with Kinamamito. He's like, he's the one who said. He also said, like, it was just resonated, because he's like, man, kumbe, we just need this thing for our sanity.
Yep.
We just we were doing the sketches, we were doing this stuff, and we are having so much fun again. We're back to life. And then it kind of just went from there, and it's been up since COVID, man.
Since then, man. Yeah.
What a story.
What a story, Maze. Like, clearly you can tell it is nowhere near the end. Unajua? Not only comedy in a different way from doing it as was. Unajua? Because there's been generations. There was Damboki, there was pre-Churchill, then came Churchill, and the two can coexist now.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys. There's stand-up collective, there's Punchline, so clearly there's so much more.
Yesterday's show, we had our show, so obviously fully booked. David and Amandip had their show now, of course.
The Bubble Gum.
Yeah, the Bubble Gum. They just went and did a thing, and it was also fully booked. I'm like, there's no way.
The dam.
The dam is getting full. Like, it's gonna be so many things happening at the same time. I guarantee you, there'll be a time where we'll have an arena where, like, somebody of that caliber is playing like a stadium somewhere or a big theater, and still the clubs are full.
Yep,
this is true.
And still, people will still go to that. Like, it's.
Yeah, I think also like another weird thought is that on nights, let's say like Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, where do you find most of Nairobians? I really believe that the reason the clubs are so full everywhere is because they don't have options. Exactly.
Yeah, there is.
And the moment you start giving them alternatives, like, okay, so that's not a weird idea.
It is not. It is
not. Alternatives. It's gonna be amazing, and I love it too. Like, one of the things that has been killing me is how I'm unable to attend plays. I love watching theater. it's the weekend it's happening is when I have a gig.
Yeah.
Or when it's like, even when you guys were doing, which one was that? The one that I really wanted to come.
Missing Max.
Missing Max.
Yeah.
We were in Nakuru. So I'm like, I'll come to the overflow show on Sunday. So exhausted. I drove in, I arrived late from the gig we did in Nakuru. We were so exhausted. We get it. And I'm like, what a good problem to have.
Yeah.
What a freaking good problem to have. We have this, we are doing this. Like we're even gonna do things for kids. Because I'm also
like
thinking,
that.
what about kids?
Yeah.
So we're gonna, like, I've been talking, Darren Collins is a very good magician and he does puppets for kids and everything. Like, we're gonna have a show at the club, the comedy club, Nairobi Laugh Bar, every Sunday eventually for kids. For kids, families, or at least let's call it family friendly show. It's a mix of magic, comedy, stand up. Like,
count me and my
Very
family
different.
in, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Umepata at least 4 tickets. Ndio hizo.
Ndio hizo.
Yeah, ndani.
Because that's just an easy fix. It's like, let's do that as well.
Jump in, especially like with its angle with the magic as well.
Yeah.
That pulls them in, then it's easier now to sell it to them next time.
And then, we've done also magic for grown-ups where he does stand-up and magic. It was insane.
Quite unique.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I've also talked to Musau, like the mentalist, because I want to figure that out. I want to see how we can have that as well as part of the options. So it's like, man, the dam is massive.
So many possibilities.
It's Masinga or whatever. Which one is the biggest one?
I think Masinga.
Yeah.
Kindaruma or Masinga.
Kindaruma, one of those.
Can you name the 7 Fox?
But everyone can drink out of it, man.
Yeah,
Everyone is going to be drinking out of it.
So clearly, we can all feel the conversation has come to a sort of where we are now. We are speaking of the present, which is good. So let's start now tying things down, at least for now, because the conversation is endelea for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. So even before we get to the big 3, let's just reflect on 2-3 things. First of all, let me acknowledge, yes, it's a good problem where there is so much to be done. Yeah. So for instance, now you guys are doing more than just one show, more than just one venue. And at times, like you noted, different comedians are doing different things on the same night. Yeah. Nilikuwa na Ruth the other day for my radio show. And we were speaking around the same thing, and I'm sure I've wanted to catch so many of your shows because the last time I caught her was at Wildly. Nico, man, every time I see you on stage, I'm on stage as well for something different.
I know.
So skupenda kwangu.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about just a bit the number 7 and leading to the roasts and what you guys did for on Showmax. Because like, thank you. This was some of the content that brought me laughter.
Genuine laughter.
Genuine laughter. Izi mwisho wa COVID. Ningeketi niko, okay, COVID is done. Now we can interact. But bado tuko na ikio there's still something there. And like what you guys put up on Showmax, nilikuwa, okay, that's fantastic. So how did that come about? The Eugene Connect, the BN Connect, and all that. So you actually have 2. You have Roast
and Comedy Riot. Yes. So what happened was, while we were doing now the open mics at 2 Grapes and the Blues, we're doing the shows, paid shows at the Blues. At that time, 2 Grapes, open mics, Blues, paid shows. That is what I was doing. And Wildly, Blues and Wildly paid shows. Eugene comes to 2 Grapes, like, because it's next to his office. One day, he comes there, has a whale of a time. He has a good time. So he starts coming. He starts bringing celebrity friends every time. He'd bring Nameless, he'd bring BN, he was just dragging. Everyone from his office was made to come and watch comedy. Because now at this point, I think at that point he has clued in, I have to do something with these guys.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I have to work with these guys somehow. So, and then he came to the Blues. He came to all the shows. When he came to the Blues, so when he came to the 2 Grapes, I didn't see him a few times. But then one time I see him with Mwaniki because I knew Mwaniki Magedi. And then I said, oh, that is also Eugene. It was interesting, but I didn't say anything to them. And then he came to the Blues one time. He came to the Blues. So I say hi. I'm like, Eugene, I love your stuff. I remember when we were abroad, I used to watch the new shows that he did, the Young, Rich and stuff.
Yeah, the ones on K24.
Yeah, so when I found out it was him later, I was like, oh, interesting. Young man doing his thing. So I talked to him. Because actually, I think the thing that got me on them was I see at least 2 schoolmates were on the Young, Rich back then. So I was like, so I talked to Eugene and we exchanged numbers and we just started talking. And we just kind of started talking. And then he told me, oh, my club here, number 7, I'm renovating it. I want you guys to do something there. I want you to come and check it out. And I'm like, yeah, these guys, is just bullshitting me, because everyone bullshits sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, maybe it's just being polite or whatever. It's like, yeah, I want you to come and check it out. And I was like, all right, maybe. And then one day he actually called me out on it. Did you come? And I was like, oh, you actually meant it.
You were serious, yeah.
So
the guy's not a bullshitter.
yeah, so I went. Yeah, he's not a bullshit. So I went, and they had done the renovations. They're almost done now, unfortunately. Too late. So I was like, all right, check it out. And I'm like, but the things, I even had some acoustic issues in number 7. I used to tell him we have acoustic problems because it's meant to be a club, but he wants it also to be a comedy club, to do comedy. And which, again, that's right up my alley, because I'm like, I've been wanting to do a comedy club. So I see it, and I was like, yeah, we'll come and do something eventually. So he comes and he's like, yo, we couldn't figure out a time because we were so busy around that time. Like, he wanted Wednesday, 2 grips. Thursday, Mayura. Friday, what were we doing on Friday? It was Wine Life, which was Punchline. Wednesday and Friday was Punchline. And then Saturday, we were doing our satellite paid shows, because I was also figuring out, we got to figure out a way to be some sustainability, because the open mics don't really raise a lot of money. You want to be able to give a bit of money for guys to even finance their dream in the meantime, before they can actually earn a living, at least be able to get fare to and fro. So the paid shows were the way for that, for me, because I was like, you give, yeah. So it was impossible. Then finally I was like, let's just do Tuesday. Let's try Tuesday. Okay. Tuesday. And now when he used to come to to 2 grapes, he'd come with BN and what's his face? Nameless. I guess nameless. He came with them, and of course the moment we see them, everyone is like, I'm gonna do crowd work. I'm gonna roast them. I'm just gonna do crowd work with them. Like, we were even doing just crowd work.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and then Eugene used to call it, that's a roast. And I'm like, well, we're asking questions, then doing the bits. I guess in a way it is. So yeah, we say let's do it. And then to launch the laugh attack at number 7, which we did, he said, let's roast BN. And he talked to BN of yours. BN was on board.
He's a good sport.
He's a good sport. BN is
it aligned with Baldman.
Yes, it aligned with the Baldman project.
Yeah.
And BN was going for comedy anyways. This guy is actually, he's got it too. You know what I mean? I'm sure, I bet you he regrets he didn't do comedy.
Yeah.
Possible.
But like, so he's like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, why not?
He comes, and it was a fantastic show. So and then around that same time, there was another conversation with the TV station to do a show. And so you just like, it's too bad. But then I thought, and I was like, dude, but the roast is a concept on its own. So we agreed again, let's pursue the idea of a roast and make it a thing. Make it an actual thing, because we had recorded that one, we put it on YouTube, and it got a lot of traction and a lot of reception, you know, because it was put on the Sautis Hall page. So people were like, this is dope. And the fact that it's on Sautis, it means they endorse this shit, right?
Yeah.
And everyone else, of course, after seeing Bian and Aaron roasted, every celebrity will be okay with it.
Yeah.
And the initial vision for that, even Eugene's vision, was saying, we can use the roast every time somebody's launching a project. You come, we launch it here, and then, you know, we roast your project and you go. So the next person we tried was Kagwe Mungai. Again, it went well. It's like, hell yeah. So I guess he pitched it. He found a way to pitch it to the Showmax guys. And because now we were doing the number 7, the open mic, it wasn't supposed to be a premium show like that. So it was always experimental and free entry and all that fun stuff. But we just did it, and we got the contract to do all the 10 episodes. And then because we had done BN, it was already out. We couldn't add to the episodes. But it was already on YouTube, so it's all good. But then now the Kagwe Mungai one went into the episode, so we now talk to all the other celebrities, you know, Boniface Mwangi, Nameless, everyone came on board. And then one of the weirdest things we kept thinking was, man, this thing is we thought the people with the scandals I guess, were gonna be the best episodes, but we ran into a problem. We're not on the same level. These guys are here, we're here, we're making fun of it. We sound like bitter fans. So it didn't work out as well, especially the one that we had the most trouble with was the one for Jalango. Because first of all, he's also sensitive. He's running for office. So there's a lot of
You can't say this.
Yes.
You can't go this far.
Yeah, but he's not the one to censor it, but it's just feeling. It's just that vibe is not, it's wrong. So we had to have a meeting. We sat down, we figured out how to turn it around, and we did. And then coincidentally, as a result, the guys with the least scandals were the funniest. Because there's no tightropes that you're walking. It's like, it's all banter, it's all good games. So anybody who's been just blogs, anything being called anything on a blog, whatever, whether false or not, because I guess I called it scandal, but really it's whatever, right? There's no narrative about them out there. The only narrative is their work. Became fun. So we did the nameless one. It was amazing. Boniface Mwangi was amazing. And then they said we're gonna do Sanaipe, and it's like, Sanaipe, there's even nothing apart from her music. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, she's a...
What are we gonna do with that one? Comedians were like, because comedians also, the lazy mind wants you to run to. We want somebody like, we want somebody who has got a scandal so we can make fun of. And we're like, no. You guys are not realizing the pattern here.
Yeah.
The guys who don't have what you would call a scandal are the guys who are they're punching the most, the best. So we said, okay, let's do it. And dude, man, we do Sanaipe and it was out of this world. Because everyone's just like, bam, like hit. It was a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And it became a thing. Of course, it was amazing. And we had fun. We had the time of our lives. And then, to be fair, the first few ones we did were experimental in a lot of ways, right? Because we were talking about P Unit. Me, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of P Unit for all those years. And now I don't know how to handle the whole the respect thing. I think that's how I have the problem we had. How do you handle the respect thing? Even for Jalas, how are we handling the respect thing that we have to do? But once we figured that out,
you ran with it.
We ran with it, and it was amazing.
And that was easier to pitch or get the next show, and that worked out okay.
Yes, because I think it did well.
Yeah,
hopefully
it
did well, because they now called us for the Comedy Riot. They gave us a stand-up one. And we got there.
Yeah, you are, man. Keep going, Bana. We can't wait for more stuff from you guys.
How does the next year, 2 years in summary look like? What space are you in? There's a lot going on, but in summary, what's happening?
In summary, right now we're obviously tightening down on what the things that we're doing. I mean, we're sharpening our skills even more. We're doing more trainings, even for ourselves. Even the seasoned comedians, we're saying, hey, sharpen some more, because now we have a full-time club. We have to entertain every week.
Congrats on that. This is for the Nairobi Laugh Bar.
Yeah, the Nairobi Laugh Bar.
Congrats, man.
We have to entertain every week, and we have to figure it out.
Yeah, right? How many days?
Concept. Right now it's 3 days a week.
Whoa.
But 4, it's gonna be 4 soon.
Madness.
Right? Like with the family show, it's gonna be 4. Then eventually the rest will just organically will follow the Tutafuata Mkondo. And they're all the nights are filled, like they're full. People are coming through every night. It's amazing. So the question now is, what are we doing next? And that's a conversation we've been having with comedians about upskilling. I'm taking, Darren is very skilled in a lot of things, including improv. I'm taking improv classes with Darren. We're working on improv because I feel like it'll help stand up, but also I want to practice. I want to do improv as a thing as well. We have that. We are also talking, like I told you guys earlier, we're talking with a lot of like global comedians, globally seasoned comedians who are going to be coming through on our club on a weekly basis, where at any given time you have at least once a month an act you've never seen from. You don't have a chance of ever seeing them except at the Laugh Bar only. The guys, those guys I used to, when I was at the Comedy Cave, I used to open for a lot of guys who are not drive-by right now. Yeah. The drive-by comedy thing. I used to open for a lot of those guys, and I'm talking to some of them, and they're like, yeah, dude, if we figure it out, they'll be coming.
Yeah.
All the best.
All the best with that, man. Doug, it's been such a joy talking to you, man. We could sit here and go open so many threads, man, of lessons. This is one of those things where, conceptually, you'd think that we'd sit here and laugh a lot. You telling your stupid jokes. But I suppose that's not the journey as well, right? There's something else underneath all that, which is all the lessons that you've shared with us and the very amazing and lessonful journey.
Clearly busy being born.
Busy being born, man.
Busy,
And here,
exactly.
actually, that's the part we end. Like, he's, what are you doing now? He's upskilling. He's busy being born.
Realizes there's still yet to be done.
Yeah.
Yet so much has been
Amazing, man.
Yeah,
Big three?
Be grateful.
Big three for sure. Let me acknowledge two things. Number one is congratulations on the journey.
Thanks, man.
Every so often nikiona like a fund has come through for the stand-up collective, Nico, that's what's up. Every so often nikiona somewhere up for an award, Nico, that's what's up, man. Keep them coming.
For sure, man.
My favorite bit saizi is I remember Ndaiga and I randomly December 25th, like 6-7 years ago, tunapigiana simu like 10 o'clock. You guy, Hannibal ako Kenya. Hannibal moja. Yeah. So tunajipata at midnight on 24th Christmas.
I remember that.
Yeah. Tunajipata village market, like 300 of us. So unaangalia uko, nani alikuwa? Blinky Bill was actually there. I think so too. Because is that nani? This is such a tiny collective that has just discovered Hannibal is here. He does his set for about an hour. Good night, Merry Christmas. After that is done, Uko, what the? Like, you've enjoyed, Uko. How random was
How
that?
crazy was that? I was so pissed off.
Yeah?
Because I just drove to Shags. I get home, I'm settling in, I'm seeing the poster on our group, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was with Sadia yesterday. She runs Kenya Nights. She ran Kenya Nights. And she's the one who organized
that together.
Yeah, they put it together. And I was just like, I kept talking about it. I'm like, why?
Why would you do that to us?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Super random.
And then he did that again the next year.
Yeah. Oh, he did?
A second time.
Yeah.
He came again. Like, I've thought about messaging the guy. I'm like, why do you keep doing that?
Just
Well, you
random.
don't tell us. You just show up. But hey, man, it is what it is. But it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and the reason I mention that is because now at least I know going forward I don't have to rely on kuna kitu, kuna msee ako area.
Yes.
At least najua anytime I go to your page, Nico Stand Up Collective, and I even do this for the show. Like right now, every time I'm done with my show, radio Mutai ku plug in. Apo mwisho Nico, there is always a comedy show by these guys. Go and show up. So well done on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
20 big three. Nakuru High School alumni, you know? Tumetoka mbali. You know?
Nuts,
very
man.
far.
Yeah.
Reading. Are you a big reader? What book would you gift at this point in time now in this season / recommend?
Oh, man.
Or book that carries lessons that you reference?
I actually, so there's a funny thing. I've been a reader for a while, took a break because of fatigue, and then I just picked up like end of last year. So I'm already on my third book. The third one was, the one that I'm reading right now is how to create a funny, it's a skill book. Again, it's a guy by the guy who pioneered The Onion.
The Onion.
Yes, and how to run a writer's room, so to speak, like how to run a writer's room. That's one of the books I'd recommend for comedians. You want to learn even what the person who's leading you is doing, so that you understand how you place yourself, how to succeed the most in that context, for whatever context, because I feel like everyone has a turn for everything.
Yeah.
And then there's also, I haven't read it, but I'm gonna check it out. There's a guy, the psychologist, the famous guy, the 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson. Because there's been a lot of controversy.
Canadian. It's very controversial, but I think
very controversial. But he talks a lot about things, the things that I've struggled with a lot, which is like self-discipline, intentional discipline, is what I feel like I'm doing a lot of that right now. Like I'm getting to a stage where I'm like, oh, I'm becoming a disciplined old man. Like I've always rebelled against anything that puts me in a box. But now I'm trying to actually actively pursue the benefits of that and see if I can get that. You know, if it means, you're supposed to work, to exercise and work out. I'm like, I'll do it my way, like, which is like, what is your way? You know what I mean? But that's been the theme of my life, is just trying to rebel against anything that seems organized, orderly.
No.
12 Rules for Life, I think that's the title.
Yeah, the 12 Rules for Life. That one I'm going to check out for sure. I'm checking that out. But I also love stories, man. I love, like, if you can read, like, there are people who don't like fiction and stuff, but like whatever, but I love them.
You'll jump into
I jump into stories a lot. So the challenge has always been getting a good story. but I read obscure books, man. I'll go to the bookstore, buy a book that I don't know who the heck it is, whatever the story is, and then I'll be on the street and I'll buy those 100 shillings books or 500, whatever. Like, I do that quite a bit. Like, there's a whole thing on my thing, and a lot of them are stories. I really like to delve into the stories just to build, especially for world building. I think it helps with my world building, but it also helps me contextualize myself.
Nice.
So yeah.
Right before you jump into the next question, how about plug the guys who've sponsored the episode? Technically,
Yeah.
we keep forgetting
Yeah,
this.
we keep forgetting.
So shout out Prevail Presents. Yeah, off the cuff. So shout out Prevail Presents. Prevail Presents are a theater and film company. Check them out. They're up for a couple of awards this particular year, Tuko 2024. They're also celebrating a couple of artists out there. Abu ame collaborate now, so of course unajua ni wase wanoma. Unaona, lazima ni flag. So check them out. Prevail Presents on all social media platforms. Yeah, that's it for them. Twende Kamande.
Nice. Shout out to Prevail. If you were to have dinner we'll give you 2 or 3 people, dead or alive, once in a lifetime opportunity, who would those people be at this point in time? This could change a few years from now, but now.
Yeah. I can't. Who do I have dinner with? Oh man, I know those questions. I know the type of questions there. Just trying to think of who I would love to listen to. Man, I would definitely at the same time want to have dinner with Chappelle and Chappelle and Kevin Hart and Chris Rock, especially I want to treat them as one person.
Okay.
Like, in the way that they are all, there's something very different about all of them that I feel like I want to learn something from those guys just because they're that big. Who else I would love to have dinner with right now? Oh man, this is might be a bit controversial, but remember the old Moy. Like, I want to just hear what was going on in his head. Right? Like, there's a lot to be said for what people say, but remember the man.
Yeah.
What was happening?
What's up?
Like, because I don't think anything was out of a vacuum.
No.
Everything has context, and we never understood it. The reason I have that, I'm glad I do. I have that grace for that personality as well, is because as a kid I was a big fan. He was entertainment. Like, you realize politics is a large part entertainment, but we don't realize it because of the other stuff. So as a kid, the only thing you see is the entertainment, the parades, the speeches, the humor he throws in, right? So I would have loved, and then the thing that really changed, because even the bad things were being said about him, even when we were in high school, and then one day he came to do a fundraiser in our school, and just watching him, the public speaker that he was, just changed for me. It was like light for me. So I would love to hear what he has in mind. Like, it's controversial, but I don't care. We're old, where it is what it is, right? Like, I wanna listen to that. Apologetically.
Sorry, I'd also want to talk with all the presidents of this country.
Exactly.
Just sit with them for hours and understand.
Even that pressure.
Yeah.
What are you dealing with? What the heck
What's
is
your
going on?
motivation? How does that change year on year? I don't know.
Yes.
I of course, this could go in a different tangent. So Tony could recognize that they are also going. You said this word before, Nanikai circle phases.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say the old Moi, because me menpeleka Moi mgani. Are we speaking late 70s? Are we speaking 80s? Are we speaking 90s? But clearly, if even by early 2000s,
When it's
still
still
something
lucid,
about
yes.
him, then it's clearly not a phase. It's just
It's
the
just
man.
the man.
Yeah.
Just
What happened? Because what actually triggered that question, because when you asked me, I had to think of someone I want to listen to, is actually you've given me that. Moi. And then the third guy would be Charles Hornsby, the guy who wrote a book, the Kenya History Since Independence. If you read that book, you'll get a lot more context. You'll not be simplistic about what you do, even about understanding of the country, politics, and just our life and what informs how we behave. Like, that's another guy I would love to sit down with and listen to his stories and his mind, because he knows a lot about what the DNA of who we've become as a people is largely informed by politics, whether we like it or not, whether we shut it down or not. Our habits, our even our quirks, even our corruption mindset,
how we relate to each other,
like how we've become so much. As much as we look it out for each other, the amount of not looking out for each other we do as well is as a result of that.
Yeah.
And I want to see how did we get there? Like, how did that guy, because I read that book, man, and that's another book I got to recommend.
Nice. Okay.
In fact, top of my list.
Yeah.
Kenya, A History Since Independence. Gives you context to everything that was happening, like what was up, because there's always because I've also realized there's a lot of things that change over time. There are things that happened when we were alive and you remember what the story was at that time, and then people start saying it again and it's a different story now. People are saying things that are different. There's context is gone, and I'm like, I think it's important to be contextual in every sense. That even got me to understand a lot of the things that we do, and I'm like, anyway, I could go for days, but
I like that. Context. Trevor Noah has been on record reminding us that for a joke to be funny, we'd have to understand context.
Yes.
And he comes to mind because he's attached to this final question, yeah? And our final question is normally, think of the greats. And we always mention the greats as we see them in the guests' world, but even beyond. So it could be the Chappelles, still African in a way. It could be the Trevor Noahs, the Mandelas, the Mois, the Wangari Maathais. So we have these celebrated African icons on a platform. And in the world of this question, and in this one as well, you are there, standing next to them, a great. But you don't have the opportunity to tell them, Africans, my fellow Kenyans, this is what I advise you to do, this is what I wish you knew. And so you have a t-shirt on, and on your t-shirt is a short statement of a message that you'd like to pass to your people. Humanity, of course, but in this case, with Africa and maybe Kenya in mind, what would your statement be?
I'll need more setup again, because what happened was when you mentioned Trevor Noah, I realized he should have been in that list. And then I realized I know enough about him, though. I feel like I know a lot about him, that I'm like, maybe it's not. So I got into back and forth, and I didn't hear the setup fully. If you don't mind, I would love the setup again.
The honesty is wonderful.
It's okay. You can also take it longer.
You
can bring it the way you brought it.
However, which way.
Yeah, I just messed up. That's my bad.
All good. Good. Yeah. What statement or quote would you feel, given the opportunity to share with Africa or Kenya, would be printed on your t-shirt? So just because it's a t-shirt means it wouldn't be a paragraph, or it could be, break the rules if you want. What would that statement be?
Statement be that as Kenyans,
as Africans.
And where am I at this point? What is my context?
You're next to the greats.
I'm standing next to them.
Yes.
So this message will resonate.
Yeah.
They'll pay attention. Everyone will pay attention.
And it could be just for this moment. Maybe 2 years from now, you'll be like, no.
Can I give it context?
Sure.
Because I have the statement.
Go for it.
We've always felt like we are inferior as Africa. Or if we've not felt like it, we've been told we are constantly inferior. We don't fit, we don't do. And every time I meet a comedian, a big comedian that I respected before like that, I still respect them. But now I'm like, we are the same. White or black, we are hanging out. And I'm always like, damn, dude, like we start ball busting instantly, or we are talking, we go deep. It goes both ways. Sometimes we go deep or we go silly, and it's always the same thing. It happens when I meet comedians abroad. It happens when I meet Kenyan comedians, even before I met them in person. Like when I would come down and I meet Butita, and I'm like, we're just comics. Like this guy would plug in everywhere. Comedian. And then it's the same thing for Africans and Kenyans and everything. So my statement would be like, it's all good, man.
It's all
We're good.
You're good.
We're good. We fit. We're all good, man. Like,
it's
all good, man. Like, check it out. Hey. Look at me. Look at them.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having, and congratulations to you guys. You guys have been doing fantastic. The podcast is dope. The stuff you've been doing with the Nini again, man, I'm happy. Like I told this guy, I can't believe he became a grown up. You know what I mean? Like he was such a toy to us, man. He was such a cute little kid, just Hana, Mpole, Nin, and I'm like, man, that's a well that runs deep.
Yeah.
Like I never would have guessed you did exactly what you did, and I was so proud when I found out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, because it's 5 years ago when I was hanging out with another mutual friend. He told me, "Hey, you remember, Mato," and I'm like,
Mato
Moja, the kid who was quiet like this, and he was just like you were absorbing, is what I felt. Like at that time, there was a lot of people who just came to absorb, and you were one of them. Like, because I was a year ahead of you, right? And you're just a guy who absorbed, man. And then he told me, man, he went hard, The guys that I discovered before I left was Ogutu.
Ogutu Moraya.
Yes. And at least one day, same class, he came and did an audition and killed and did so well after that. I was like, yeah, I did a play with him at least. So I was like, at least we knew him. That one is going there. But you didn't get a chance while I was there. You didn't get a full chance. But then I'm so proud of you, man. I was so happy. But he was such a nice guy.
As I am of you, man. As I am of you. Keep flying, bro. Stay busy being born. Congratulations on the stand-up collective.
Thank you, man.
On your career. Unajua mambo ya mapenzi pia tujazungumzia.
Tujazungumzia familia, but all the best on that side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sante maze. Stay busy being born.
Thank you so much, bro. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Guys, hoping to plug you, follow you. Where do they hit you up at?
Yeah, check me out on all at Doug Mutai on all the platforms, including that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pornhub. No, but like all the platforms.
Yes, sir.
Also, check out the Stand Up Collective and Nairobi Laugh Bar. We're doing the thing,
Yeah.
Doing the thing, comedy, the culture is growing and keeps growing. Please check it out. If you've never been to a comedy show, please do try and get into one, man. It's a good time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Asante sana, Doug.
Thanks, Kamande.
Wish you so much joy, so much happiness, so much growth, man.
Thank you.
And may you keep being fulfilled.
Thank you.
By this thing that you love so much.
Asante, man.
Right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining with us. Man, it's been such a wonderful episode, as always.
Yeah.
You can find us everywhere online. We didn't say that last week in the last episode.
Yeah.
You can find us online everywhere. Twitter, Instagram at BusyBeingBorn_ and on Facebook at the Busy Being Born Podcast, and most importantly on our website, busybeingborn.africa. Your boy Kamade.
Kigondu, and even before we say what we always say at the end, we'll say thank you, Clive. Good to have you on board.
Cheers, Clive.
Yes. Yeah. To miss Grace, but you're good. You're it's all good, man.
He'll do the job.
It's all good. Yeah,
he'll do.
Yeah.
God bless up, Clive. Kama kawaida, Abu. Thank you. Yeah, and Monique, so much love. Kama kawaida. Let's keep doing this. And to the rest of you, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Plug, tell your friends. Just wherever it goes, as organically as it could.
We are on every podcast platform that you'd prefer everywhere. So just search for Busy Being Born.
Yeah. So mwisho tasema what we always say, which is,
if you're not busy being born,
then you're probably busy not leaving.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh man. Cheers, man.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Do look out for more from us. For now, Kwaheri.